Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowl Metrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowl Metrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowl Metrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowl Metrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowl Metrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. Welcome to the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio, presented by Storm Bowling, brought to you by Cool Wick, official apparel merchandiser of the Storm Youth Championships, by PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18, and by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, by Pinwheel.us, Customer Relationship Management, by T&D Transportation, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowl Metrics, official tournament management system of the Storm Youth Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. Now, live from Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio, it's the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We are here for round two. My name is Blair Blumenscheid, and over there is a U.S. Open champ, Christopher Vi.
Hello,
PBA
hello.
champ, local pro shop operator.
Yeah.
Owner.
A little bit of everything.
You do it all.
A little bit of everything.
What don't you do?
Golf enough.
You also don't bake cookies, but we have.
I don't
we have
bake.
Mama Vi cookies.
I have made them. I have made them before.
There's no way they were as good.
Maybe not quite. Maybe not quite.
We'll
but,
keep
but
showing. We'll keep making everyone hungry all afternoon and keep showing the Mama Vi cookies that your mom brought. She's here this afternoon. Shout out to Mama Vi.
Yes, of course.
Team Cookie. All right, Chris, we're watching some awesome young ladies bowl in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pull up some bios. I'm going to see if we filled out our bios at this event.
It's always a hit and miss whether these kids actually fill them out or not.
We've been talking about that all day.
Yeah, it's pretty funny though when they do. Some of the answers, I don't know, they make me laugh.
So Alyssa is letting me down. Alyssa normally shouts out, like, here, look. In the Kentucky event, she shouted out Cody and TT from the Cincinnati Bengals.
I like that.
She wanted to give a shout out to T. Higgins for the Cincinnati Bengals. This event, she just says Anthony and Alyssa Clark.
Well, T. Higgins is in contract talks with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think he wants out because they're not paying him enough. So yeah, he's off the shout out list is why. Yeah, so he's done. No more shout outs. Alyssa's moved on.
She has. But she loves doing sports stats, and she was the one that picked up the spare on 34 and then sat down quickly. She's from Erlanger, Kentucky. That's
the site of the first ever PBA tournament I ever went to.
No way.
Yeah, Erlanger, Kentucky. I was, I think I was 7 or 8, and yeah, I went down there. I still have a picture with Norm Duke from that first ever one.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that. I'm going to pull up our lane assignments. I just saw in the chat someone said that Nana has pulled over and is watching bowling. She was driving.
Hey, priorities.
Darlene, who are you watching? We'll give them a shout out.
Priorities.
I get it.
I like that.
Yeah, right? All right. The bowlers we are watching. We are watching Mackenzie Gentis, Elizabeth Silcox, Danielle Martika.
Really testing you. Testing you early.
Alyssa Bechtel, Gracie Dunn, and we do have a blank. No, we don't. Someone's bowling in the F position. I wonder who that is. We'll figure that out in a minute because I thought that the F bowler on the spare didn't show up.
Abigail Sargent.
They weren't here this morning. Did they?
Maybe she came for the second block.
Maybe. All right, let's see. Okay, so where was I? 30 now, 35 and 36. Layla McQuaid, Zoe Gillett, Autumn Schroed, Liana Lucchese. I think it's Lucchese. I don't know. Lauren Worthman. And Brooklyn Rain.
Glad that's your job.
that was the hardest grouping we've had all day of pronunciation, so I apologize to everyone that I just butchered. It was like all at once.
Yeah, and if you were watching this morning, you know that they competed on the 37-foot SYC short pattern, but now we've changed things up. we're changing up. We got 4 squads this weekend here at the Super Slam, and there are 4 different patterns. So each 5-game block will be bowled on a different pattern. And this is medium pattern number 1 for the 2024 SYC Super Slam here at the Columbus Square Bowling Palace. This one, do a brief little rundown here for our viewers. 43 feet in distance, 29.3 milliliters of volume, which is definitely pushing the higher side for sure. And it is 2.74 to 1 on the ratio. So we'll see definitely some more stronger bowling balls being thrown than we did earlier this morning. Probably some straighter angles as well, at least from the start. And we'll see how it breaks down.
That's your job. You got this.
That is my job. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. You're here to mispronounce names, and I'm here to talk about the lane patterns.
I kill that job. So medium patterns, we give them 2 this weekend. So this one is medium 1, medium 2 is tomorrow morning. Most players, youth and adult, would say medium patterns can be challenging.
Yes. Yeah, I think they're the trickiest, or can be the trickiest, just because they give you the variety of options of playing. Typically, this one's on the longer side of medium, so this one almost may play a bit more like a long pattern, but the medium patterns generally give you all options to play, right? So they're typically short enough where you can play to the outside and have a look out there, but they also have just enough length where you can kind of play inside. Somewhere in between is always an option as well. So yeah, I think they become the trickiest, and they usually will transition the trickiest unless there's kind of a defined spot to play on the medium pattern. Just you get a little bit of everything, and typically people are going to want to play how they're comfortable with, or play closer to their A game. So if their A game's hooking it, or if their A game's playing it straight, they're obviously going to want to try to do that. And then if you hit a pair with a little bit of both of those, that gets real interesting. Or if you're following somebody that is doing the opposite of what you want to do, it also gets very interesting.
Yeah, and the girls and boys bowl in the same center. They're all mixed within, so it can get tricky.
Yep, absolutely. Oh my goodness, we almost saw it. Oh, it fell. It fell. The 2-8-10 converted on lane 38 there. Let's go.
That's awesome.
Nolan Ludwig, Columbus's own.
He is. Yeah, I'm going to switch to this other camera so we can see these players. This is our bonus camera. Got a couple angles this weekend. This is Moo. Addison Cole. Our nickname's Moo.
Moo?
Moo.
Okay.
Yep, just Moo. She used to have a cow jersey. It was awesome.
I like that. Does she have cows?
No, she. This
Just
is a very funny story. Because I asked her when she was really little, I said, why do they call you Moo? And she's like, well, when I was a baby, I had really chubby cheeks, and they called me Moo.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
Like, straight matter of fact. So we still call her Moo.
Fair enough.
She doesn't have chubby cheeks anymore, though. She's very tall and skinny.
Tall and skinny.
Yeah, really.
Would not be the first nickname I would think of.
No. But she's growing into her game, I would say. Like, definitely getting more on it. Like, you can see her hand in the right place now, which is really fun as they, the evolution of the players' games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a little longer arms and longer legs, able to create a little bit more leverage, a little bit more power. So I know I went through that phase when I went from being very, very short to growing pretty quickly, that it's a little frustrating as well, because your body's changing, so everything else changes, and your swing changes, and your footwork and all that. So it can be a little confusing at times, and you're not really sure what you're doing, and it can be a bit frustrating. But once you figure it out, it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, Grace Zerner, that's another really good game. Two-handed young ladies, Chris.
They're popping up everywhere. Love to see it. We had Anna Anthony win the U15, the short pattern, earlier this morning. Another two-handed young lady.
She's got a few titles in this SYC thing. We were chatting. Jeff Robinson was in the booth earlier, and he was spilling all your secrets.
Oh, Jeez.
Just kidding. But
Could only imagine.
We were talking about how, when you were younger, there weren't quite as many two-handed youth bowlers. There were some, but not to this level.
No, I mean, realistically, competitively, there was probably only 3 or 4 that I really knew. And, one of them was on my high school team. So, I mean, it just wasn't a very common thing in general in bowling. Just two-handed just wasn't that popular. Because when Belmo broke onto the scene, that was my junior year of high school. So, I mean, I was already bowling competitively two-handed before he really ever even came, to the States and won that first time in New York. But
sure.
Oscar was on the U.S. Open show a few years before that. That kind of, brought the two-handed scene to the States. But, it wasn't a very normal thing for, just to see two-handed bowlers. And now it's almost weird if I go do some sort of appearance or a clinic or whatever it may be. It's weird if there's more one-handers than two-handers.
Yeah.
I was just out at Mount Mercy University out there with Andy Dierks, and we were doing a clinic out there that Storm was sponsoring, and there was 21 total kids, and I think there were two-handers.
Wow.
Maybe 3.
Wow.
If I remember, I think 2. But yeah, it's like 2 out of 21. I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like this is very, very weird. It just doesn't happen very much anymore.
No.
But it's crazy how much it's grown and how quickly it's grown, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Really, really cool to see.
Yeah, so you're going to see Grace Zerner up here. She's stepping up on lane 37. It's a real test for us because they've hidden the numbers.
They have. Yeah, you could be like 34 plus 3, 37. Yeah, 37.
37,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grace, decent start here. Strike, spare, spare.
Solid. Really solid. And gets it to go.
Love that.
We'll take all of them.
Take them. You have to. It's in the rules.
The Ludwig boys are cracking me up because I was watching, I think, Nolan. I confuse them now because actually I think I was looking at Tucker.
I say because
Tucker's
like
the taller,
6'7"
right?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tucker was standing and reminded me so much of his dad. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so weird. Like, they're so grown up.
I remember, I think Bill brought him over to the shop a while ago. I think he may have brought him to when we had a ball demo. And he just wanted to kind of, for us to meet. And, I talked to him a little bit about two-handed. And, I remember them. They were 4 foot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they were tiny.
They were both small kids.
Yeah.
And I've seen them every once in a while. I saw them at, I think, the SYC last year in Indy. I saw them. And then see them now. It's like every time I see them, they're a foot taller.
Easily.
Not a couple inches. They're legit a foot taller.
Yeah. I think Tucker, was it Tucker that bowled his first 300 this year? Or 800? 300.
I'm not sure.
I'll have to look it up. So they're killing it. Let's just say
the
Ludwig Ludwig family is continuing on their streak of good bowlers. Bill's not a bad bowler himself.
Not at all.
Good shot there. Oh, they're both going left. They need to move. Ludwig boys, move. Savannah Portillo's over there too. When she steps up, she has broken through finally. She won her first SYC title this year.
Very nice.
In her home state of Michigan.
Boo.
Yeah.
I mean, good for her.
Yeah. And I think she followed it up with another win, I'm pretty sure. And she, by the way, is going it alone this weekend. Anna Antony's family is her
Pseudo
guardians.
family?
Yeah, guardians for the weekend.
Nice.
She has a couple sisters that also play many sports.
Yeah,
Sometimes
can't
you
be
gotta
everywhere
juggle.
at once.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing about bowling, though. I mean, the families you meet, especially here at the SYCs, like it's like legit just a big family.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Now I know there's been some, obviously some names that basically have bowled every SYC now start to age out. And,
Yeah.
Definitely kind of getting some new faces in here as well, but it's still, I mean, just it's almost kind of like it's like a mini pro tour.
It is.
Like it's like the bunch of the same people bowl. They're kind of traveling around, having a good time. Obviously, there's new faces every now and then as well. But yeah, just the relationships that have been built, and I mean, you're comfortable just letting your kid go with another family for an entire weekend because you know that they're in good hands.
Oh, absolutely. And let's face it, they're just bowling the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. Kids could care less if their parents are there, as long as they're fed and they get to the bowling alley on time. They're good.
Yeah. All these girls are throwing. They like. I love their games. They're all solid fundamentals here.
Yeah, we were talking. I was talking with Carter yesterday in the stream when we were watching the finals of the Baker match. That it's just crazy how quickly the kids are becoming that much better.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, at a young age, they're getting some really good coaching. They're understanding everything a bit more. There's just better coaching nowadays, and you know, obviously, people in the industry are figuring out better ways to do things, and you know, bowling balls are getting better. Just everything's getting better in bowling, and it's kind of transferring into these younger kids that they just can learn much quicker at a young age of what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And it's pretty cool to see that you can walk around here and like how would I play this pattern, and then walk around and you can see a majority of the kids doing something very similar and like playing the lanes how quote unquote they should be played.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see.
Yeah, you don't really walk in anymore and see like everyone played in on the short pattern. Like maybe a few years you would have seen that. They are learning definitely the right part.
Yeah, and I mean you
unless
still do.
the pattern dictates it, right?
And you still do every now and then just from obviously you have to start somewhere, right?
Oh
so
yeah, for sure.
It's your first SYC or first tournament that's on a sport condition. You just don't know any better. Then you don't know any better. But it's the cool thing that everyone here is willing to help, and usually there's one of us, a touring player, whether it be male or female, typically on site, and we're always open to answering any questions. So if you are lost and you have no idea what you're doing, then we can at least get you pointed in the right direction. So it's just, I mean, I'm very jealous of these kids, having these events around, now that it would just be so much easier if I could go to an event and have Norm Duke standing behind me, like, why are you doing that on this pattern? Like, this is what you should be doing. I'm like, oh, all right, that makes more sense.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this. Yeah, I believe you told them yesterday they're spoiled.
Yes. Yeah, I did. I firmly believe it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not.
And they just are. And I think a majority of them are very, I would say, thankful.
Yeah.
For the situation that they're in. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely no, taking it for granted type of attitudes out here.
Yeah, they
a lot
understand.
Of good kids.
They understand that. Yeah, we're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
So Lauren here, Casey Mattingly's hanging out in the chat. What's up, Casey? Remember Casey? He was in Indy last year.
Yeah, I know Casey. Yeah.
Okay, good. Lauren here is one of his kiddos.
Out of Anderson, Indiana.
Anderson, yeah. It's probably just getting our feet wet in the SYC. So welcome, Lauren. Like you said, it's all about learning.
Yeah, and only a couple hours from home, so not too bad.
Yeah.
Nice little quick trip along I-70.
Take it. Alyssa has been working with Ron Hatfield.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They've been driving up. I don't know if it's every month or every couple months and getting a lesson with him.
Very nice. And I know, speaking of, he'll be joining me for game 2.
Yeah. The live stream will get incredibly smarter because I'll be stepping out.
Yeah, I love. I don't know if you've posted the interview from Anna.
Not yet.
No.
I have to. I know. I'm gonna do that on the break.
Yeah, you have to.
When Ron's in here.
Yeah. So you guys want to listen to Anna Antony's interview from Blair here after leading the U15 division on the short pattern earlier this morning.
She had a good interview.
Yeah.
She gives a shout out to someone you'll hear in the next block.
Yeah, it's just funny. We were kind of joking about some of the kids and their interviews. You can tell the ones that have done interviews in the past and ones that are very nervous and very scared to not say something stupid.
But like you said earlier, just like coming here and it's their first SYC, they've overcome their first interview, right?
Yeah,
so when they're a pro and
got to start somewhere.
And the PBA says, "Hey, we're putting an interview on you," it won't be brand new. So anyway,
yeah, exactly.
Lauren's second SYC, first one was in Indy. There you go.
Oh, so she just does the super slams.
Apparently.
Yeah, she just waits for the big ones.
You know what? I'm only gonna do the majors.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy in my career. I only show up for the majors.
Yeah, we got to work on that.
I mean, I'd rather it be that way than the other way. Just never show up for a major. That would suck.
Where does your U.S. Open trophy live? Does it live at the shop or your house?
It is at my house. I've thought about taking it to the shop. I just need a spot that people can't put their hands on it.
Yeah.
I don't want
protected.
Hands all over it. So, at some point in time, I'll get it into the shop. And some of the league bowlers have been begging me to bring it in, and I'm just like, it just sounds like something bad's gonna happen to it.
I know. As I said that, I was like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could get a replica made.
A replica, yeah.
Like call the USPC and be like, hey,
yeah, hey, can I get a replica one just to
just
to put up there?
Not a terrible idea.
I can put my USBC Open Championships one in there and just tell them that it's the US Open.
That works, yeah.
That one's way heavier. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is.
Maybe that's the Pete. After Pete broke his, maybe they started making it lighter.
They're like, well, let's use a material that doesn't break as easily.
Yeah. So this jersey Mackenzie's wearing, they called this Flavor Town.
Flavor Town.
That's the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Which Columbus, as all the families that are here this weekend are discovering, like I've had so many people tell me, there's so much good food in this town.
There is.
Right?
There is, and it's only getting better, and it's spreading out more and more. I know just about, well, at least you know where it is, but about less than 10 minutes from here, 5 minutes from here, now off 161 in Hamilton.
Yeah.
It's like there's been 20 restaurants in the last year and a half pop up, all pretty good, some local, but some chains as well. So a little bit of everything.
I heard you and Mikey think that there's a wings place better than Roosters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we found it. We found it.
I don't know about this.
It was, I wasn't going to believe it either.
And then
until we went, and tell you what, pretty good.
Mary has not tried it yet, so she's not confirming or denying it.
She
so
hasn't.
I'll wait for her assessment.
We snuck out, had a bro date before our we went to the memorial tournament. So
okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that was a big bro date.
It was.
You went to dinner?
It was a bro week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a bro week. We went 4 of the 7 days.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was a lot of walking.
I bet.
A lot of walking.
Lisa's requesting an SYC in Pennsylvania. Well, on our website, there's a place where if you have a bowling center that wants to host, you can sign up.
Somebody yesterday asked when the 2025 schedule is going to get released.
I know, they're all getting antsy.
I know.
It's crazy.
They expect it a year in advance.
Yeah. We usually do. Leanne is working on it. We usually try to get it out in the fall, like early fall, because we do try to be the first ones so that other people don't book on top of us.
Yeah, of course.
And we don't have to tweak stuff. Now, that being said, it is impossible, as Chris mentioned earlier, to miss every possible youth bowling weekend that there is. They can bowl every week. They can bowl more than you, Chris.
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So what we do try to do is not go to a region that has a big tournament at the same time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so there may be another big tournament. Like if we were here this weekend and in California there was a major tournament,
you're not really going to lose. Yeah, not really going to lose any.
Yeah. Although we do have some bowlers from California.
Yeah, you do have some.
Yeah. I think we have them from all over. I don't know what the stat is for states. We'll have to. Maybe I'll get Leanne in later this block.
I had parents come up to me yesterday. Said they were from. Well, they just moved, but they were from Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were from Hawaii, and they just moved to Maryland.
Okay.
And when they got to Maryland, they found out about the SYC that was here.
Nice.
And they're like, "Oh, well, we got to go."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. Miss McQuaid. See, this is where the medium patterns get tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you move left? Do you move right?
That's the tricky part. You see obviously some lower scores here, and I wasn't here for the morning block for the short patterns, but just listening to some of the scores, even the younger divisions, there were some kids that were averaging over 200. So I would say we had some 240 average in the U18 boys division. So definitely some scores were out there this morning, and I think that will be changing this evening.
Yeah,
I think that will be changing.
Agreed. Although remember the last time we were here, it went into 300 fest.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was calling the one of the games with Gary, and I think it was 33 and 34, and I think the low game on the pair was 247.
Oh yeah.
And there was like 3 270s, and I was saying the same story yesterday, and I know there's a picture of the game out there somewhere.
I think Gianna, it was Landon's group, right? Landon,
Gianna. Caitlin Stahl was on that pair as well. I'm trying to remember who else was on it, but it was stupid.
It was monster. Yeah, I do remember that. That was ridiculous. Well, when we wrap up this game, as we mentioned, Ron is going to jump in the booth. We're going to take a short break in between before Ron comes in. Let the bowlers switch pairs. They're all going to move. If you weren't watching this morning, we keep our cameras stationary. The bowlers move 2 pairs to the right. So I believe you're going to get some little ones next game.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at like U12s, maybe U12 boys. Bam Bam might be close by. Vicinity.
It's so funny too because obviously the U12 scores obviously are a bit lower, and they're all learning. They're having a good time. But I tell you what, they bowl quick.
Yeah, they do.
They bowl quick. They might throw more shots than the U18. But I bet you they bowl faster.
Oh, yeah.
Like they can throw 2 shots to their 1 pretty quickly. And they don't even care if they're up at the same time on the same pair. They'll just go.
Yeah,
they don't care.
They're like, we're good.
They do not care. It's awesome.
Oh, that was a great pickup.
Yeah, very nice. 3, 4, 7, 10.
She's like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I ain't clapping.
I leave it all the time, so of course I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
That's on a triple as well, so that's nice. Going into the 10th frame.
Again, just no big deal. Her parents are even like,
"Yeah,
you excited?" She's like, "I'm cool." Although you could speak to that because you keep a pretty from the outside.
Yeah.
Cool, calm, and collected. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, try to be as much as I can.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to bowl when you're kind of on an even keel, emotion-wise. Obviously, if you get one way or the other, whether it's in a positive way or a negative way, it gets hard to kind of dial back and kind of focus on what you're doing. So I just try to keep my emotions in check, whether it's good or bad. But I will say the team event is when you can kind of let the emotions kind of run a little bit more, just because you got a little bit more time in between your shots, and so you can kind of calm yourself back down. But yeah, the individual bowling, just try to keep it as low key as possible, and just kind of go about my business and see where I end up.
Zoe has a lot of surface on her ball. That's what I just noticed.
Yeah, a lot.
Lot of
Yeah, her
surface,
dad
right?
dad was hitting it a little bit more during the practice session as well, and yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of oil out there, and it's 43 feet, so I don't necessarily hate that play. Personally, I think she's just a little too far left.
Yeah.
For that amount of surface, she's keeping it so close to the head pin that it just not creating a bunch of angles. So if she's hitting the pocket, ball's kind of deflecting a bit. If it's a little left, it just wants to get offline, and unfortunately went through the face there and left a split. Yeah, like I said, we got a little bit of everything. Got some people playing a little bit further to the left with some surface. You got some people playing to the right.
Oh, are you kidding?
Unfortunately.
That's our friend Danielle that just had that monster split pickup, and then, oh yeah, 7-10. Thank you.
Just trying to prove herself of how many cool spares she can have in one game.
Oh, maybe she could.
Yeah,
Let's pick it up. Why not?
So she's just going to make it.
Yeah, let's do it.
She's going to have a Lee Jane Sin 710 spare conversion.
Be awesome. How good is Lee Jane Sin this summer? Kind of locked up.
Like all of her life. She's that good.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she is locked up player of the year. Well, not yet. Not yet. I can't say locked up.
It's hard to say. I don't know how much more she's bowling. I don't know if she's going to stay for the whole swing or not.
I don't know.
Because
they only have one tournament left.
I believe the Singapore group went back home.
They did,
They went back home, so it's tough when they have a couple week break and they have 2 full weeks of expenses and they're not bowling at all. That's pretty tough on them, but yeah, I'm not sure if she's going to stick around or not. If so, I would definitely like her chances of winning Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But if not, then it opens the door for a few players. That I think a few players got a couple wins out there. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, good little end of the summer. I think they have like the one tournament with 3 tournaments in it, the players.
Oh, okay.
And then the Lucy counts, and I don't think they have much else. They just have the 2 events left.
Yeah, well, I would imagine they would have the Tour Championship probably after the Lucy.
Oh,
probably.
Maybe Tour. Yeah. Yep. You're right. All right. As mentioned, we are going to be taking a break. We're in the 10th frame here on 35 and 36.
Yep, got some kids moving some pairs here, and got looks like we are going to have some of the U12 boys. Not sure who else is going to be on these right pairs here, but we'll find out.
Yeah. I'm hoping all of these girls, none of these girls really got in a comfy spot on this pattern. I'm hoping they all kind of try something different in this fill,
yeah,
get a different
like I said,
look.
These ones are going to be tricky.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the lower ratio patterns as well this weekend. So decent amount of oil, a more of a medium length pattern, and lower ratio. So yeah, I think score's going to be a little harder to come by this block. Not saying that the kids can't go out and bowl some good games, but they're definitely going to have to earn it a little bit more.
For sure. Oh, it looks like we have the leader in the U12 girls from this morning coming in. Chris, you know what happened this weekend? Our printer died.
Uh-oh.
It was not good.
Printed out too many of these sheets that you put up on every single pattern or on every single pair.
I know, maybe. I don't know. It's been challenging. A little challenging, I should say. Not super challenging, but.
Yep, just finishing up this first game here. We will have a new wave of bowlers coming in. And a new wave of commenter coming in as well. Commentator, I should say.
Your mom just made me give Ron Hatfield a cookie. I didn't want to.
Unbelievable.
Thank you. But, like,
that's
what?
all right. There's more.
I know.
They're just not conveniently in front of you anymore.
I know, it's crazy. And I'm going to bring him in, and he's going to be sitting here in front of the cookies. I might come back, and there's no cookies left.
Oh.
It's all right.
There
are more. Yeah. there are plenty more. Thank goodness.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to make less than like 100.
But they go so quick.
Oh, I know.
You walk in a bowl. I mean,
they're gone.
I hope Leanne did not leave them out in the front of the table because they might be gone down in the room.
They might be. Yeah, they might be.
I mean, there's 192 kids in this building.
Yeah, I don't know if word is spread that they're here yet. So.
All right. Well, let's keep that on the DL, everyone. Oh, we got the Newton sisters. Look, they're matching. So sweet. All right, we're going to take a really short break because I need to switch out for Ron. And we're going to give Kurz a little break. And then we will be right back.
See you in game 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for game 2. I am joined by Sir Ron Hatfield. Can I call you Sir Ron? Gold level coach out here with RKH coaching group. It's kind of your home center, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And what a home center it is.
Yes.
It's hard to find places better than this. I think the concourse space is what makes this place stand out.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally perfect.
It still takes in a tournament like this. It's amazing. Our high school tournament, how long it takes to get from one end of the center to the other, even as big as the concourse is.
Yeah.
There's just that many people, but that's great for an event like this.
It is. It's really perfect. I mean, you couldn't really ask for anything better. And you don't. I don't think you really realize it. Like if you're just bowling league, you're just like, man, this place is so big.
Yeah.
And then you put a tournament in here like that, and you have
smaller.
so many people, and it's like, oh, this place is just big enough.
And it gets warm.
Yeah, it does. It gets a lot warmer. Well.
And it doesn't hurt. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and I would say it's also mid-90s outside now. And it's not very common for Ohio weather to be this warm this early.
No,
but we're certainly feeling it inside here as well.
And it certainly helps to have Julie Wells as the general manager here because they don't get much better than her either.
No, a bowler that understands bowling and will do right by the bowlers.
Yes.
Even if it may cost the bowling center a few extra bucks, that's who you want in charge. And she does an absolutely fantastic job here. So
absolutely,
shout out to Julie. All right, let's run down who we got in front of us here. Over there on lanes 33 and 34, we have Daisy Newton, Joseph Martika, Stevie Newton, John, also goes by JJ Yelton, Ryan Liam, and Rylan Mills. So that will be your group over there on 33 and 34. And I was talking to Blair about how fast these kids bowl, like the U12 and like even some of the U15, the younger U15s. I was like, they probably throw more shots than the U18, just they don't strike quite as much, but I think they get done twice as fast.
Right.
They throw twice as many shots and they get done twice as fast. They are ready to bowl.
And as a touring pro, do you prefer that type of speed or would you rather it slow down a little bit?
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be too slow because then it's just like you're sitting around, you're waiting, and then, maybe you can start overthinking maybe a bit more, or you have some sort of rhythm and you kind of want to just get up there and bowl. Like you're seeing the right thing, you're doing the right thing, you're feeling the right thing. So you just want to bowl a lot quicker because you want to keep that.
Right.
But then at times you do kind of want to bowl a little bit slower because you're like, all right, I'm a little confused.
Right.
Let me
more time to think it through.
Yeah, let me take a step back and think. But I think, honestly, I've gotten a little slower over time.
Chris, that's called old age.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It's starting to settle on me a little bit more. But, it's definitely one where I'm taking my time a little bit more as I've gotten a little bit older. But still, I am, I think, a little on the faster side.
But wouldn't you think that a part of that, though, is with your experience, when you're comfortable because you do this all the time, you've done it so much that you don't feel as rushed. Things kind of slow down for you, and you feel like you don't have to be in a hurry. I think sometimes when bowlers are nervous or they're unused to the situation or inexperienced, I think they rush because of that feeling.
Yeah, I think it makes them a little uncomfortable, and they don't want to be uncomfortable.
Right.
So they're just thinking the faster I can get this done, I won't have this feeling anymore.
Right.
So they just kind of get up there and kind of go with it. So, being able to just kind of slow things down, I think, is definitely a big step that I've been able to take in my game kind of over the past few years even. And even, obviously, these kids are having so much more experience at such a young age. I didn't really start bowling competitive stuff until I was like 17.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, I bowled younger. When I was younger, I bowled some competitive stuff, but just local, right? No traveling involved.
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought I was going to become a professional basketball player, and I wasn't even 5 foot tall. So that didn't translate very well to my basketball game. So I got back into bowling in high school. So, I started bowling some stuff like sophomore, junior year of high school is when I really started bowling outside stuff and competitive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds out here bowling these sport pattern events and traveling, a couple hours. So it's like, they're getting the experiences way, way younger. By the time they're in these U18, they're going to be doing these for 7-8 years.
Right.
This is going to be nothing for them. So when they, go to college and when they want to bowl, the travel won't be an issue. They'll be, they'll know how to manage their time a bit better. And, Yeah, I mean, they're going to feel a whole lot more comfortable.
I'm convinced I grew up in the wrong generation because, 100 years ago when I was a youth bowler, there weren't sport patterns. There weren't tournaments like this. And I bowled everything I could, and there just wasn't that much.
Yeah.
And the patterns weren't challenging. It was short oil, but that was it. It wasn't like all these different type of patterns. And I know for a fact if I would have grown up with that, I would be a better bowler today.
Yeah.
And I just envy them for this. And it's so encouraging to know that these events sell out in minutes.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, it's like parents literally have they whenever they have a tournament go live, people are having like alarms go off on their phones to make sure that they have the website pulled up to be able to enter into these tournaments, because they know if they're 5 minutes after the entries open,
no chance.
They're out. They're on the waiting list.
And down on the waiting list.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So it is pretty crazy, but it's so cool to see. And I'm sure, just like I've said a million times, every time you come to one of these events, the talent level is just even higher than the last time you came to one.
And I was going to speak of that because every event, whether it's JTBA here in Ohio or an SYC or Junior Gold, every year it just seems like, how are they getting so good at such a fast rate in such large quantities? And I think it's because they're not afraid of this stuff. I think there's a lot of great coaching out there. There's more and more good coaching, but they're not afraid of this stuff. I know you've bowled overseas, and when you're overseas, a lot of these countries that haven't had bowling as long as we have, they have only grown up on this.
Yeah.
They don't know what a house shot is, and they don't want to know what a house shot is.
Well, I mean, their version of a house shot is literally what that house wants to lay out.
Right.
Like, so they don't have a 12 to 1, a 15 to 1. Like when people from overseas, if you ever ask them how many 300s they have, they'll be excited to say they have 3 or 4.
Right.
Like they'll be like, oh, I have 3, I have 4. And it's like, that's actually impressive, bowling on what they bowl on. I mean, this is what they bowl on.
Absolutely.
Like for their leagues or for whatever it is. So, to actually have, I mean, they're truly honor scores. Like when you go overseas, I mean, it's actually an honor to bowl them because it is considerably harder. And I feel like that's what these kids are going to end up being like when they're a little bit older. Like, when they go bowl on weekend tournaments that have sport patterns, or bowl collegiately or competitively after college, like they're going to be prepared. Like they're going to understand it way more. And I'm trying to get a few more wins under my belt before these kids get out on tour. That's what I'm saying.
That might not be a bad idea, and that's no slam on you because you're awesome. You are truly incredible, but they are just going to get better and better.
These kids are something special. I mean, I've seen, or obviously I remember videos of me when I was 17, 18. So basically I would be at the older age group of this of this event, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I mean, I bowled, and obviously, I mean, I didn't know lane play. I didn't really know ball selection. I knew, if my ball hooked, I moved left, and it's a very old school way of thinking.
Exactly.
And that's just, I mean, I grew up with my dad. My dad was, he just bowled leagues. He was a very good bowler, but he just bowled leagues, so he didn't really know. So, after getting a little bit of coaching, and obviously just some experience, I started to learn a bit more and a bit more. But I mean, even to this day, obviously, still learning, still trying to figure things out. And if you ever stop learning, then that's where someone's going to pass you.
Right.
So,
right.
You always got to stay learning, but at the same time, it's so cool that these kids understand so much more at such a young age. I mean, I'm sure you see it when you're out giving lessons. Like, you tell a kid something, and they almost finish the sentence for you.
The bowling IQs are just getting higher and higher, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but it is so much more fun to coach when they know more because the communication is a lot easier, and then getting them to try something is easier because they understand why.
Yeah,
it is so much fun. And then, I do a lot of classes to train coaches, and I'm getting a lot of youth bowlers more and more every year coming through the coaching classes.
That's awesome.
And most of them are there because they want the information for their own games, but then a lot of them are already looking to coach.
Yeah.
Either now or in a few years, and that's just so exciting.
And I think you're seeing a lot of collegiate bowlers stay and start
Yeah,
coaching
as
in
graduate
either
assistants
graduate
or
assistants or finding. I mean, there's it feels like a million new collegiate programs popping up like all at the same time.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, there's like 3 just in Columbus.
Right.
Like
The way I say
new
that,
ones.
every year I hear of new colleges that are starting new bowling programs, and I'm not so surprised that they're starting a new program. I'm surprised that I never heard of that as a college in the first place.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know it existed.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's so exciting to see that, and there's so many more opportunities now for coaches because of that. So,
Mhm.
we're talking about the bowlers right now, but even on the coaching side, it's getting exciting because of all the opportunities in high school. High school
Yeah.
bowling in Ohio is huge and getting to be nationwide and growing, and that's that feeder system into college bowling. So that's why all these new programs are starting, and then that's a feeder system into the PBA and PWBA. People talk about bowling being down, and I don't see it. High
I mean,
school level, college level, this
yeah. I mean, look at this.
international is growing. In fact, the Bowling World Cup is the largest sporting event in the world regarding numbers of countries in an event.
Mhm.
So there's so many things that bowling is doing right, and I don't see hardly any negatives. It's all positives.
Yeah, I mean it's so cool to see. I mean, and these events, obviously, I've been fortunate. I think, I can't even tell you how many SYCs I've been to now. At least 6, maybe. And it's literally everyone I come to, it's sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a waiting list. Sometimes there's even people on the waiting list that'll show up just in case.
Yeah.
Like if there happen to be a local,
Sure.
they'll show up just in case, and they'll end up hanging out. And then the kids will have fun outside of the bowling center. They usually have some sort of activities. I know they had a food truck outside of the
Yeah.
bowling center today for a bunch of the people to enjoy. So it's just like, not only is it a bowling event, but it's also just like the kids can still be kids as
Right.
well. So it's
Right.
not like it's these kids are living and dying by every single shot. Like obviously they're here, they want to learn, they want to bowl well, but at the same time they're having a fun weekend.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. These are going to be memories that even if these kids don't grow up and continue to keep bowling, there's going to be memories that they have that they can pass down to their future kids some days. That like, yeah, I bowled these SYCs, and hey, SYCs are probably still going to be around by then.
I
would
hope so.
imagine.
And a shout out to Storm. I mean, the value that these bowlers get for their entry fee is incredible.
Mhm.
I still think about what they charge and what they get for this, and it's an incredible event. It's very affordable. Anyone can do it, and it's just an amazing thing they're doing. And if I'm a college coach, I'm going to be in this building because you're seeing so much talent. Many of them whom are looking at a college choice at this point in their high school career, and this is the place to be.
Yeah.
I know Junior Gold is a major recruiting event, but these SYCs are also major recruiting events, or should be.
And I think they're a little more compact than what a Junior Gold is.
Right.
So you don't have to go to multiple bowling centers. You don't have to. You can still have a booth here, but you're not just hoping one of the 5,000 kids that sign up for it are going to walk by your booth and happen to be the right person that you're looking for. You can walk up and down. Obviously, it's still 64 lanes of bowlers, but it's a little more accessible. You can watch everyone bowl in one bowling center, and you can see not only how they bowl, but how they act when they bowl. You can look at how the families are, and yeah, you can really get a lot of valuable information from coming to these tournaments as a college coach. And I mean, you see it because I think we have
2 or 3 or 4 maybe here.
more than that.
Is it that?
Yeah,
Okay,
more than
good.
that. Yeah,
I was
mean,
hoping it was more.
they were listing it off right before this round,
Right.
just as a kind of, hey, we got some college coaches if anyone's interested. And they started naming them. I was like, oh my goodness! Like, I want to say at least 6.
That's great.
I want to say at least 6. So
That's great.
it's super cool to see.
And any coaches out there listening, whether you're high school, youth, college, and you don't feel like you're as up to date as you'd like to be on coaching two-handers, you just come to these events and you realize that needs to happen ASAP, because every time, again, whether it's this event, Junior Gold, JTBAs, MJMAs, anytime you go to an event, the percentage of bowlers being two-handed goes up and up and up. And it's an evolving part of our game. no one knows it all. Players, coaches, we're still learning. We're still working through ideas and techniques. And I don't know about you, but I'm starting to see more variety in two-handers. Used to
Absolutely.
be when two-handers 5, 10 years ago, were still not new, but not as common as today. The styles didn't vary a whole lot, but now there's starting to be a lot of things that they're doing that are a little bit different, and so we have to keep up with that as coaches.
Yeah, I think they're starting at a younger age, and we see her actually on lane 36 stepping up here. Alyssa Randisi.
Oh, she throws it nice.
Throws it incredible.
Oh.
Two-handed lefty.
Oh,
Nice and smooth.
really good.
Not her best effort there, but gets the Brooklyn strike.
She's got a nice game.
Yeah, so she led this morning
Yeah.
on the U15 women's.
So you think about
side.
at that age, how good is she going to be as a freshman in college?
Yeah. I mean, incredible. I'm sorry, U12. I'm sorry,
What?
U12,
She's
actually.
U12?
Yeah. Incredible.
Oh, my goodness.
Insane. She's in the U12 division, so she won U12 session this morning on the 37-foot pattern.
I don't want to bowl against her.
No chance.
I mean, my goodness.
She's 11. Okay, we're getting
She's
word
11.
She is 11. Okay,
Oh,
so yeah,
that's
incredible.
incredible.
Yeah, she's throwing it incredible, and that's what we're talking about. Not only are we seeing younger two-handed on the boys' side,
Yeah.
we're seeing more and more and more younger two-handed females.
And I'm so happy to see that. It's taken a while to get there, and it's so good to see. And also, and I'm sure, Chris, you've seen this, a lot of adults are converting.
I literally just gave my first lesson last weekend to a 67-year-old man.
I was going to
that
say seniors, too.
Just
Yes.
had a thumb, like a kind of a ligament issue that he said he could bowl about a game and a half, and he was okay. But that last half of the second game into the third game, he could barely hold on to the ball.
Wow.
And I, checked his fit. His fit was fine. It was just one of those things where you just didn't have enough strength to bowl 3 games anymore. So he wanted to go two-handed. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, and he was a fairly good bowler, so he understood he could pick it up pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, you saw Walter do it.
Yeah,
When he
very well.
kind of went on the 50 tour.
Yeah.
And he bowled. I think he won a PBA 50 event. I
Absolutely,
think it may have been
yes.
a regional, but
Yeah.
I think he won at least some sort of PBA 50 event two-handed. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be everywhere.
Funny story, I was doing a clinic a couple years ago with Rhino, and we were doing an adult clinic the day before a youth camp, and the coaches would move every 45 minutes, and so he was to my right, so I was following him, so I was going to the pair that he just left. I got to the pair, and there were 4 gentlemen all over the age of 65, and I'm just standing back watching them throw before I start talking to them, and 3 of them are throwing it two-handed, and I thought, Rhino's pulling along. Rhino told them before he left, hey, throw it two-handed when Ron comes over just to mess with them. So I walk up and I said, all right, guys, joke's up. I know Rhino put you up to this. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is the way we bowl. I said, oh, uh-oh.
Oh, sorry.
And they said, yeah, we switched 6 months ago because if the kids can do it and make the ball hook, why can't we? And I said, absolutely, let's
Love
go.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
have some fun.
I love it.
And we did. We had a great time. But that was so fun to see that they just were loving doing that and doing it well. There's no
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stigma in our sport regarding two-handed that certain people, for whatever reasons, can't do it, whether it's, body-wise or age-wise, and it's just not true. Anybody can do it.
Mhm.
Anybody. And it's not...
Just have to do it in a different way.
Exactly. You have to be taught I think just like with a one-handed technique, there's technique that you need to learn and fundamentals, and if you do it correctly, you're fine. It's not going to cause any injury. And it's just so exciting to see more people trying it that might have been told before, you can't do this, or they might have thought before, I can't do this, and now they're like, yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's funny, and obviously, over the past several years, I've spent more and more time with Belmo and around Belmo, and I've had plenty of conversations with him. I mean, all over the topics of outside of bowling, inside of bowling, whatever it may be, and it's just being around him when people ask him about the injuries associated with two-handed, like his responses are the best. Like, cause he's very to the point. He will not beat around the bush. Like, he is like, this is how it is. If you don't like it, sorry about your luck, type of deal. And yeah, he's I think he had kind of had enough of the topic the last time, and he was asking a guy, and we had just got done bowling a pro-am with him, and guy had a pretty high backswing, and he was pretty aggressive kind of throughout the entire approach, right? So he had quite a bit of muscle being used, super high backswing, just a lack of a better word, a violent game, just a violent game. And ironically, this was the guy that was talking to Belmo, asking him about, what two-handed injuries and back issues and all this stuff. And so he was like, "You're telling me that you're high backswing and ripping it down through the bottom and just absolutely destroying the cover, at the bottom, doing all this, like." He's like, "You're telling me that's going to have less injuries than what my swing is that's a fourth of your swing?"
Right. Compact.
Yeah, he's like, "My swing's a fourth of yours. My body, like, rotates significantly less, like, than yours does." He's like, he's like, "You don't even slide," and like, oh, going on,
Right.
going on, going on. The guy was just like, kind of like stood there like, "Oh, okay, this is not the response that I was expected." But it's, if done correctly, I personally think that it will cause way less injury.
I totally agree. But I also, on the flip side, I also think that if done incorrectly, the chance of injury is
Yes.
greater than a one-hander doing it incorrectly. But
Yes.
no, I think done correctly, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. Ball weight goes into that, the right ball weight consideration, of course, the right fit, all the things that one-handers have to consider too. But it's not hard. I've seen a lot of one-handers convert to two-handed, and it's not hard to do it. I mean, to get really good at it, it is, of course, but it's not as hard as people might think it is, and they should really give it a try. And I think the biggest stigma or misconception physically is that it's going to hurt my back.
Yeah.
And that's not true if you do it right. Now, there are a lot of two-handers that overdo the spine tilt, and that will lead to possible injury, but you don't have to go 90 degrees, and be parallel to the floor. That's not what we teach anymore. And not to mention that also makes it hard to see the lane.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot. I'm sure you have too. You see a lot of two-handers.
Simo's the asterisk.
He is the exception.
Yeah.
I watch videos of him, and I'm just amazed that he can go that far forward and never lose sight of the lane. He's got a very flexible neck, apparently.
Yeah,
but not every bowler does.
And it's funny because there's been a few times where I've done appearances or whatever it is, and somebody's like, "Yeah, I want to throw it like Simon. I want to do this," or I watch Simon, he does this. I'm like, don't. Just don't watch him. I was like, it is just...
It's an anomaly.
It is such an anomaly. It's just one thing that you can't really teach, and it's just...
Yeah, trying not emulating him is not an insult to him at all. Not even a little bit. It's just that may not be the best way for most people.
I would say 99.99% of bowlers, that is not the best way.
I think, and this is going to sound like most obvious statement of the year, a great one to emulate would be Belmo. I mean, he's got the classic fundamental technique. You have, and again, I'm not just saying this because talking to you, but you have some differences between you and Belmo. And I think things that you and Kyle Troop do that are unique,
much more similar to Kyle than I am to Belmo.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And I think the way that you guys go about it is a very efficient, very great way of doing it. And it's, like I said earlier, we're seeing a lot more different variations of the style. And I think quite honestly, I think you and Kyle make the game look even simpler.
I believe we are much more like one-handers than we are two-handers.
I agree.
think Kyle and I are the closest to being one-handers that are two-handers, or I guess traditional thumb-in bowlers.
Right.
We're a little bit more square to kind of our target line. We don't get nearly as open. Swing's pretty compact.
Footwork is very similar to one-hander.
Yeah, we don't have the skip step. Everything's pretty, I guess, in line, at least when I'm bowling well.
You hope.
Yeah. Let's run down who else we have on this pair.
Sure.
We have, we spoke about Alyssa, who, by the way, has double spare triple through the first 6 frames.
Of course she does.
That's incredible.
She's amazing.
Incredible start. We have Samantha Ruffin, Kendall Steyer, Kaylin Evanson. Of course, we have Alyssa Randisi, Taylor Morgan, and Leah Besovic.
Names I'm sure we'll hear a lot of in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just so fun to watch this young age. I mean, it's fun to be watching these 4 lanes right now because of the age group. And how amazing their fundamentals are and how well they've been coached, obviously, at this young age.
Yeah.
Again, Samantha's a great
I mean,
example of that.
Yeah, I mean, these are basically 4 lanes of U12 boys and girls that are bowling competitively on sport conditions that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
The scores may not necessarily reflect that because this is a fairly challenging pattern.
Yes, it is.
Through the first couple games that so far that we have seen, and I handed you the pattern earlier, and it's 2.7 to 1. And, for this age group, that is very hard. That is very hard. We see some stuff on tour that's 2.7 to 1.
Right. Right.
And it's obviously it's dependent what bowling center you're in,
Sure.
who you're following, all that good stuff. But for these kids, this is a heavier volume.
Medium pattern.
Almost 30 mils,
Right.
43 feet.
And it's medium, and that's the hardest pattern
100%.
to bowl in. Short and long can be hard, but they're typically more playable because people play them generally the same.
Yeah.
But the medium pattern, you can have any angle, any ball, and transition. Not only is it hard in the fresh, but the transition becomes so challenging because of all the variety of how people are attacking the lanes.
Yeah, the short and the medium have a bit more of a roadmap.
Right.
Of, hey, this is kind of where you need to be, and this is kind of what you got to do. Some slight, variations here and there, of course, but the medium's like, have at it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you think you get lined up game 1, you're like, okay, let's move and go to game 2, and then whoever bowled on that pair played it way differently than your pair did, and now it's like a whole new pattern. So yeah, the transition. I noticed that a lot overseas when we would follow all the different countries and how hard it got from lane to lane, game to game. And if it was a short or a long, I was like, okay, this won't be as hard. But if it was a medium, I was like, oh, my brain's gonna be fried by the end of the day.
Yes,
I just know it.
Yes, absolutely. That's what you got to have the scouter moving pairs. Where you got to go, who you're following, if they're using a bunch of surface, if they're playing left, if they're playing right.
I called that coach my coach 007, my spy.
Yes, absolutely.
And they were so valuable, especially on the medium patterns. Go find someone doing better than we are and let me know what they're doing, and then let us know what's going on where we're going to next. And anything you can tell me is going to help. Yeah. And then the topography maps that we got were very valuable, and I wish that was a thing here that was more cost efficient. And maybe someday there will be. Yeah, hopefully there'll be a time, I'm sure there will be, where it will be much more cost efficient because those maps are so valuable.
Yeah.
Because no lane is flat, and all those hills and valleys are going to affect your ball motion, and your ball sees it, but you don't. And if we can see it on a piece of paper, it helps our adjustments dramatically.
Would you say that is the most influential thing in ball motion?
By far.
Yeah,
not even close.
I agree. And it's, I always kind of refer back to the video that KEGEL did with Pete Weber a while ago.
Norm and Rhino.
Yeah.
I show those all the time because
I love them.
I'll talk about topography and I'll show them the topography graph, and I'll explain how to read it, and I'll just talk about it, and I'll give them examples overseas of how I saw that, and then I'll show those videos, and it's like drop the mic moment because that's when it all just sinks in when they see that.
Yeah, it's funny. I know the story Norm told me about when they were shooting that video. He's like, we're bowling, telling us that they're going to do some testing and that they wanted to videotape and all this stuff. And he was like, they went up there, had Pete throw a couple shots, and he struck, and he was kind of mumbling. He's like, what are we even doing here? Like, what? We're wasting our time, blah, blah, blah. Just, kind of being Pete. And then they move the obviously they have the, I don't know, is it chains or is it?
I'm not sure of how they do
how
it.
They actually have it do it. They can manually basically change the topography of the lane, so they can. Hey, if we are going to a bowling center, that obviously Weber International practices there. If they're going to bowl a tournament and it's a little bit more of a bowl where the gutters are kind of raised, so it has a little bit more of a bank. They can almost emulate that at the training center, so they can get a couple of practices. They have some that it could be the opposite. The gutters, they want to actually go in the gutter.
Yep.
So kind of that upside down bowl.
Right.
And so they can emulate that. And that's basically what they did to Pete.
Oh, well, all of them. It was amazing. And they didn't know, and that's the best part is they didn't know. And for those of you that may not know what we're speaking about, there was a little test, an experiment that KEGEL did with their topography technology because they understand how important of an influence that is to ball motion. So it was lanes 5 and 6, and Rhino, Page, and Pete Weber and Norm Duke, they had lane 5 set up to be completely flat. And it was a PBA pattern of some kind. And they said, hey, just get lined up, for this sport pattern on this lane. And then you're going to take that same shot over to lane 6. And lane 6 was tilted legally 40 thousandths of an inch from left gutter to right gutter. So picture that. Lane 5 is flat. Lane 6 is tilted left to right about the height of a dime when it's laying flat on a table. And Rhino threw his shot on lane 6, and it went Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And Norm threw his shot, and he hit the 3-6, and the best one was Pete.
Yeah.
He threw his shot, and he took out the 6-9-10.
Yeah.
And just if you watch the video, you can watch his lower body language.
Because it's zoomed in, so you can't see his facial reaction.
Right.
But
you can see his legs. He just stands there like, what just happened?
Yeah, you could physically fill out the rest of the reaction based on just the lower part of his leg that you see, because he's like in shock.
I think those videos are incredibly valuable for, again, not only their purposes, but also to teach people how important that invisible variable is, because we can't see it. Every lane looks flat here at the Palace. There is not one lane that is, and there's not two lanes that are alike. Every lane is different, and your ball will see it. And that's why we tell people, Chris coaches and I coach, and we tell people, watch your ball. Trust what your ball tells you, because it cannot lie to you.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the ability. It doesn't have a brain and feelings and thoughts. It can't lie to you. It's going to tell you what gravity is happening on the lanes and how it's affecting your ball motion. People can see things, and they may tell you incorrectly what they're seeing, even though they don't mean to. But the ball can never lie to you. It's your best coach. In a bowling center, in a tournament, your ball is always your best coach.
Absolutely. And you can't even, the whole term pair to pair doesn't even really,
lane to lane.
It doesn't even really work. I mean, it's lane to lane.
Absolutely.
I mean, because in theory, most bowling centers are actually built with the substructure on the right lane and the left lane as one. And so actually 34 and 35 would actually be more similar, or at least follow the same pattern of, being, I guess, out of place. I don't know what the scientific term for it would be, but if there's some sort of issue on 34, it would be most likely be the same issue transferred into 35. If 34 fell off to the right, then maybe 35 either falls off to the left and maybe creates a valley towards where the gutters are. But then 36 it's connected to 37, so it's not even connected to the same thing. So it's truly lane to lane. And if you bolt on 34 and 35, you may see them much closer than you do 35 and 36.
Right. And I'd like to get your opinion on this, because I tell a lot of young bowlers, especially going to junior gold, where they're bowling in different centers, the practice session that are held days or the day before an event, they never play the same as the event. And there's, a logical reason for that. One is, when you're in the practice session, you're experimenting, you're trying everything, and you're probably not shooting spares.
Correct.
So you don't have spare balls going down the lane, changing the lane like it normally does. So just know, if you're going to bowl a practice session the day before a tournament, it's not going to play the same. So what I tell bowlers to do is bowl in different segments of the center to see what the lane characteristics are, because that's topography, and make note of that. And I'm curious, Chris, when you're out on tour, do you take note of topographical differences between lanes or pairs, so that if you come back to it, you know what's going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've obviously, in the last couple years, we've started to kind of go back to a lot of the same centers. So we all kind of have understood those characteristics of, hey, the low end at this bowling center is earlier and tighter down lane, or the high end is, hooks more, whatever the trend is. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, we keep notes of it. We keep track of it. But the best one ever is Chris Barnes. Have you ever seen his notes?
No.
So he basically has written them in hieroglyphics, so no one except him can understand them.
Really?
I don't know if he did it on purpose, but it's gone to the point where it's like you can look at it and it's like it'll be like 33 N7 248, and it's like, dude, what is this? And he's like, oh, it would be like, this is the ball that I threw, this is the hand position that I had, and this is, where I stood, or whatever it is. So he basically has kind of mapped his transitions on different patterns throughout time in the same bowling centers. So it's wild to see. But he'll pull up his phone and he'll be like, "Oh, last time I bowled on this pair, I moved 2 to the left and and put one. I got one hand position stronger."
Wow.
So he'll make that move right from the get go, and I mean, so yeah, he's any way that he can try to stay a step ahead of the competition. Obviously, he's going to try to do that. And yeah, so that one's the coolest one, or the most unique one that I know of. But yeah, we most certainly will pay attention to kind of what's going on, what the differences are. But
And it's interesting. That's why Chris and a lot of guys in that age category are still so good.
Yeah.
And it's because of the experience they gain from bowling so long on tour, and they take that experience and they make records of it, so that when they go back or they see a similar experience, they know how to approach it and handle it. I tell a lot of the bowlers I coach, some of these guys on tour, they don't necessarily throw their best shot physically any better than your best shot. They just have a ton more experience, and they know more what to do in situations that you may not know yet. And there's no shortcut to experience. I mean, you just got to go through it, but you've got to learn from that experience. And trying to keep it all in your head is not a good idea.
No.
You've got to make notes, whether it's handwritten in your phone, hieroglyphics, take a course from Chris. I don't know, do anything, because it's better than nothing. And that's how you expedite that experience as best you can.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of the long game, right? Where it's you don't want to just go bowl a tournament just to bowl a tournament, and then in a few years' time be like, well, I've bowled these tournaments for 3 years now. I have more experience. Like, why am I not getting any better?
Right.
It's like, well, you're just doing the same thing over and over,
It's
and
called
you're not,
insanity.
yeah, and you're not actually learning anything from it.
Right.
So hey, we were at this exact same building 2 years ago. I know a large majority of these players were here. Some have aged out by now, but there was a large majority of these players were here, and I don't know if any of them have, but if some of these players took notes where, oh, I just know specifically that these pairs are pretty high scoring right here in front of the desk.
Absolutely.
And the low end is usually pretty tough. The first 10 to 12 lanes is usually not so good. So it's like, if those players already know that going in, well, maybe they make a little bit more of a conservative option or a conservative choice down at that low end. Say, hey, if I can just get my 200 and get out of here, I'm not going to try to shoot 240 and end up with 160.
Right.
Like, give me my 200. I'll happily move on to the next pair. I'll get here and I'll get my 240 or 260.
Play a little defense, meaning focus on keeping the head pin in play, making spares, and then let your score go up the next pair where it's a little more forgiving. But sometimes we have to play smart and not always go for that 240, 250. And speaking of Chris, another thing that he does that I think is worth mentioning that a lot of people could probably do to help their chances is, if you don't have that coach or that parent at that event that can go scout out the next pair that you're going to, halfway through your game, take a walk down. Start watching, because you're following these people. And so start watching the ones that are bowling well and see what are they doing on your next pair that maybe they weren't doing on the pair you're on. And that kind of gives you a head start those first 2 frames to kind of know what you might want to do. So don't always feel like you have to stay right where you're at. You can walk around and kind of, spy for yourself and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Chris is really good at that.
He is.
Chris is like a tiger, roaming back and forth behind the bowlers, just watching what they're doing. He's hunting for the right shot that maybe he doesn't have at that moment.
Yeah, and I mean, even literally to this day, if somebody's bowling well, he will literally follow them down. If he's not sure where he needs to play, what he needs to do, he does find somebody relatively similar to him.
Sure.
Physical game or ball roll or whatever it is. Like, he's probably not going to go line up off Belmo, but
or Jesper.
Yeah, but if Jake Peters is bowling well or Don Baird is bowling well, like guys that are kind of in his physical game kind of realm,
right?
He's gonna walk right behind him, watch him throw a shot. Yeah. What are they doing? What type of ball are they throwing? Where are they out on the lane? Are they creating a lot of angle, a little angle? And it's just valuable information that it's like, hey, this guy's beating me by 200.
Yeah.
And he's doing something very different than I'm doing. Maybe I should be doing what he's doing.
And Chris is amazing, and there's nothing Chris can't do to a bowling ball, but he knows that there are going to be times when he's not making the right decisions and matching up. So someone else is. I'm not, he's thinking I'm not too above going to look and learn from someone else because there are days when I'm not doing it as well as they are. So if I copy what they're doing, I got a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the best do.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll stay in for about another half game. So I mean,
Sure.
they're already halfway game through game 3 here. So
They're good.
yeah. Let's see if we can. We're gonna have to find who's over here. This is Drew Parker's pair.
Starting with what 30?
Might actually be
31.
going this way. Yeah, Drew Parker there. So.
Step and Alex probably.
Yeah, so all right, they're on that left lane. They're already halfway through game 3. So again, we were talking, they were flying. We did have a little bit of a lane, I think a scoring issue actually here on 35 and 36 earlier in the game, but put them a little behind. But we have Tyler Paulus, Alex Crowley, Drew Parker, Landon St. Angelo, Brandon Conrad, Ridgely Potter Jr. So we have U15 boys over there on 33 and 34. And then we have U12 boys here on 35 and 36 who've just come over. We have Vinny Pasillo, Carter Weber, Caden Sham, Aaron Cabanis, Trevor Mason, and Asa Wilson Perry.
This is going to be fun to watch. These young kids and just how good they are.
Oh, it's insane.
So I met Trevor Thursday night. He was in my presentation that I did, and they came up and talked to me afterwards. And the number of SYCs he has been to.
Oh yeah,
it's like 20-something.
Yeah,
SYCs.
I know. I don't know if I remember an SYC without him, and I've been doing them for quite a few years. And I mean, he's in the U15 division. I'm pretty sure he's been doing them for about 4 or 5 years.
I mean, it's again the talent, but just the fact that they travel. Talk about supportive family. I mean,
absolutely.
And that's a lot of youth bowlers today. Many of them have that unconditional support. You want to do bowling, you want to be great at this, okay, whatever we got to do.
Yeah.
And I know you have students, I have students where, we always have to remind the youth bowler, make sure you thank them like on an hourly basis. That's how much they do for you to do what you want to do. And yeah, Trevor's one of those kids. I mean, they have just an amazing family to travel all over the country almost monthly and do these.
It's it is truly, truly crazy.
But again, young pair. We have the young ones on this pair and just all the two-handers.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Like we see Asa throw a shot there and split, and even the mannerisms, right? Even they're in the U12, but they have, they see so much bowling, on TV. They see so much bowling, now with YouTube, how popular YouTube is. That you get the mannerisms of the pros even at the U12 as well. So it's so funny to see.
Yeah, they just have a great understanding, and I think a lot of the youth too are more understanding of the importance of spares.
Yes,
and I think that has been a great thing that's been ingrained in this generation because it always will be true that spares are the most important thing. That'll never change. And it's good to see that even the ones that throw, whether one-handed, high rev, or two-handed, that they still understand, I'm going to strike a lot, but I better spare if I'm going to keep up. Because if you're not, someone else in the building is, and you're not going to keep up.
Yeah, and I think, too, I think the importance of the mental game has transitioned down into the younger age group as well.
Yeah.
Now it's a little tougher in that maturity range that you have the younger kids that tend to have a little bit of an attitude.
Absolutely.
And they have a little harder time kind of coming back into kind of, I guess, reality and kind of handling situations a bit better. But I mean, kids are reading sport kind of sports psychology books, and they're listening to podcasts and getting help from people that understand a little bit better. And I mean, you see kids taking notes, and you see them just writing things down. And I know the women are really good about just being on social media, talking about the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, whatever it is, like they're very open, very upfront about it. And I think that truly does help these kids that it's like they can see professionals on a little more of a human level as well, to where it's like, okay, they're not perfect all the time. It's okay if I'm not perfect all the time,
Right.
thing as well. So I think that's a really good thing that a lot of the women do.
I'll tell you what, watching these kids, I mean, they're all good, but watching Aaron throw the ball,
Oh yeah,
my
Bam Bam.
goodness. I mean, wow.
It is truly, truly crazy.
I'd like to know how old he is.
11.
Aaron is 11?
Yeah, Aaron's 11.
Amazing.
10 or 11.
Amazing how they throw the ball.
Yeah, I got introduced to him. He comes to our pro shop. I get introduced to him at the age of 7.
Speaking of spare shooting,
I mean, that's an unfortunate break there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so Aaron, or he affectionately known as Bam Bam.
Bam. Oh,
yeah.
yes.
This is Bam Bam.
I've heard of Bam
Yeah,
Bam.
so he shot his first 300 last year sometime.
That's right. Yes.
And then, so he's come to our shop for quite a while, and he was 7 when I first watched him bowl, and his parents asked me if I could come out and watch him bowl, and if I had any tips for him, and I was like, he's 7, like I don't really want to like push anything on him. Like at 7, you kind of like, hey, just as long as you have fun, like that's fine. Like let's wait until you get a little bit older, until we really start kind of working on some things. But I just watching him bowl, I was just like, dude, this is unbelievable. And he's shooting spares with a reactive ball and just taking his hand out and rolling it dead up the back. He's throwing backup balls, throwing normal shots. It's just like, I like, dude, like, how do you know how to do all this stuff? It's unreal.
I mean, just watching his release and his ball roll, it's crazy.
Yeah, he's truly.
And he doesn't get, his emotions are in check. He doesn't get real pumped up, and he doesn't lose his mind.
The quietest kid ever. We tried to interview him yesterday for the Storm youth page, and he told me no. Yeah.
All right.
He does not like to speak.
He's focused. He wants to stay focused on.
He doesn't like to speak. It's funny. He comes into our shop, and he usually just comes in and just kind of stands there, and like he wants to say hello. That's his version of saying hello. Just coming in and kind of standing there. I'm just like, "What's up, man?" And he'll talk to me a little bit, but
here we go.
Yeah, he is definitely not one to start a conversation, but
he lets his bowling do his talking for him.
Absolutely. He's just out there to throw strikes.
Yeah. I tell you, Mason throws are great. Alex Crawley over here throws are great. Speaking about another supportive family, they're from Montana. I mean, we could say it's the middle of nowhere where they are. They're in Whitefish, Montana, and it's not a real big bowling area, but they travel. They come all this way.
Is that anywhere close to Rhino's
They
bowling
actually practice out of Rhino Center.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
They sure do. Yeah, in fact, Rhino coaches him out there. They came in for a session with me on Thursday. That's a long way to come.
Yeah.
But they do come in occasionally to see me, but Rhino's right there, and Rhino's a great coach.
Yeah.
And he went through the training. He didn't just rely on the fact that he's a PBA bowler, and if you're ever out in that area, he's got a great center and he's a great coach. But yeah, they have a very supportive family that will do whatever he wants to do.
And another supportive family, Drew Parker.
Yes, and Andy, his dad's a wonderful coach, just a fantastic coach. Almost got the luck there.
Almost got it out of the bag, but yeah, he'll be joining us for our clinic that we're having here in a couple of weeks here at the Palace.
Yeah, we're gonna have a two-handed clinic for coaches because I just feel like there's more of a need for that. I know there's a lot of coaches and people that are trying to start those, but we need to do more of them. And so we're gonna bring in about 60, 70 coaches for our clinic in July. Try to help some. Most of them are high school coaches, and I think a lot of them understand that they're not maybe behind, but they need to stay up or at least catch up a little bit from where they used to be. And because they're getting both female and male freshmen coming in bowling two-handed.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm getting emails and messages from all over. Hey, I'm a high school coach, or I'm a new college coach, and I have 6 two-handers. I don't know what to do, and I have this, and hey, I have a couple two-handers that I'm recruiting, but I don't really know how to coach them. Like, could you help or whatever. So it's all the time. I'm having coaches reach out and ask, hey, what are some things I can help, or what are some things I can focus on with these two-handers. And yeah, I mean, to have 60 or 70 coaches in general, like, it's hard to get 60 or 70 bowlers to come to a clinic, let alone 60 or 70 coaches.
The turnout's been amazing, and I'm very glad to have you to be a part of that. And we have 5 coaches that are going to be helping with this, and I think we've got a pretty good program put together. And it's just exciting to do this first one that's pretty much oversold our expectations.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to do more of these in the future. And when you said this coach contact you and say, I have 6 two-handers, what should I do? The first thing I thought of was you should go to the bowling gods and say, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my goodness, all right. Well, the first week of practice, I don't have to convince everyone to take their thumb out of the bowling ball, so that's good.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. But yeah, with all these young kids, they're going to be bowling high school, hopefully, if high school bowling is in their state, and then eventually college. The coaches need to stay up with it, and I hope they do. We're going to try our part to help out, but there's going to be a lot of other people around the country doing the same kind of thing. So anywhere you can go, we go anywhere. If it's not with us, just go learn anywhere.
Yeah, just in general, that how much the game has changed, even in the last 5 years.
I was going to say 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, obviously we're always learning, we're always coming up with new things, but just technology, has sped up the process of learning so much quicker, and we're figuring out things that we just have thought backwards for so long. I think, the biggest thing, axis rotation, axis tilt was, even by pros, was misunderstood for, 15, 20 years ago, maybe, it was when it finally started to actually become, correctly used. So it's just like, we're learning so quickly, and obviously these kids are sponges, and like we said, they're learning a lot of this stuff at a very young age. But at the same time, you always want to be on the same page as your kids, so you kind of you're growing together. So not only is it essential to learn about the two-handed game, because if you're just watching, and listening to us talk, you're seeing. It's so many two-handers, whether it be male or female, that it's not going anywhere.
No.
So if you don't understand how to coach it, you're going to be left in the dust pretty quickly. And yeah, just from lane play and ball choices, and layouts and drillings, and how those affect different things. And yeah, it has changed quickly, and it's definitely not something you want to be behind on.
It's going to continue changing, and that's what's fun for us as coaches, is that, yeah, we have to keep up with it, but that's part of the fun, because we're not just teaching the same thing every year. We're learning and staying up to date on things. In fact, we're all presenting different portions of this clinic we're doing next month, and I am excited just to sit back and listen to all the other coaches present their parts, because my intention is to learn as much that day or that weekend as the coaches who are attending the class. And it's just so interesting to hear other coaches' experiences and maybe implement some of that into yours, and maybe vice versa. But I think we're going to have a great time, not just teaching them, but learning ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is, like we mentioned several times already, you're always learning. And there's really, the cool thing about this sport is there's no right way to do it. There's more efficient ways, and there's maybe things that give your chances, maybe your probability goes up, but there's no, this is what you have to do, besides a single pin, you roll the ball, you hit it. That's pretty much about the only definite that there is in bowling. Other than that, when you're trying to throw a strike shot, there's about a million different ways you can do it, and finding the most efficient one, the quickest, is it's a never-ending puzzle.
And to continue that thought, you've been around the world, I've been around the world. How many bowlers have you ever seen that looked identical?
Yeah,
none.
Not very often.
It's so unique. Your approach is your thumbprint, and no one else has it.
Yep.
and your thought process and your experience, everything about it. That's why as coaches we have to teach the individual and not a system. We have to coach them to be better because we look around. Everyone's different. Body structure, experiences, thought processes, and then just physical movements. And so it's challenging, but it's exciting at the same time to see, well, all right, this bowler's doing this. Here's what they're having issues with. How can I help make that better? And it's just a fun challenge. It's like a puzzle.
Yep, you can't teach every kid the same thing.
No,
because it's just not going to work for every single player.
No, and these kids, like you said, are sponges, and they're listening.
Mm-hmm.
They are listening. There are the occasional ones, but you can say that about adults too that are kind of stubborn and they might think they know everything, but that's true in anything. But most of the time, you do lessons, I do lessons. When people come to you, they want to learn, so they're an open book.
Absolutely,
and they will do whatever we ask them to try.
They're willing to try new things and willing to try different things, and that's what makes great bowlers great, is that they never stop trying.
Right,
they're
exactly.
going to keep going.
I'm sure you're still learning. You're still trying
Absolutely.
new things.
Still trying new things. Still doing different things. Seeing what works, what doesn't work. And there's always kind of those bugaboos that pop up in your game, and they typically everyone's kind of got their thing that they struggle with, and when they're bowling bad, it tends to be the same things that keep popping up, and just learning how to battle those in real time. So it's not, a full day of you just kind of beating your head against the wall, doing the same thing over and over again. You can say, all right, last time, if I just focused on this key, it kind of solved the problem, or at least it was a Band-Aid for the rest of the day until I could really, go back home and practice it. And just having those little keys, that can go from a very long, miserable day of just kind of doing the same thing over and over again to, really you can leave with a sense of accomplishment, knowing that, like, hey, I didn't do the same thing I did last time. I made an adjustment that did the right thing. I was able to throw better shots, throughout the rest of the day. And even if maybe you dug yourself too much of a hole and you maybe didn't make a cut or didn't end up winning or whatever it is, but you can at least leave saying, hey, I learned something today. I got better. And it makes you feel better. You can leave happy.
Yeah.
You can leave in a good mood.
Confidence.
Yeah, and it's a confidence thing, knowing, hey, I know now I can be a little quicker next time to make that change or make that adjustment or whatever it is, to now where it's like, maybe I didn't make the cut this time, but hey, I can recognize it 3 frames quicker. I can recognize it 5 frames quicker and make that adjustment, and then all of a sudden, then you can come back and make that comeback and make a cut and do whatever it is, and then you're really starting to feel good about yourself. Confidence goes through the roof, and confidence is very hard to beat.
It is. It is very hard. And you folks are watching the live stream. You're seeing exactly what we're seeing. And this talent, there's obviously a lot of coaching going on here. And that's something that even the pros get. So, coaching is incredibly important, not just for the physical piece, but for the knowledge piece of the lane play and how would you attack certain things, and the mental game knowledge, the equipment knowledge, all the things that it takes to be a true bowler. You have to be able to do everything, not just throw a ball well. There's a lot of people that can throw a ball well that never win because they don't have the mental game or the equipment knowledge or the lane play knowledge or the spare game or the physical fitness side of things.
Yeah, it's like
Chris, I know you're big on that, and it's critical to any athlete, including bowling.
It's like they know how to bowl, but they don't know how to bowl.
Exactly. They know how to throw a ball,
but
they don't know how to bowl because there's so much. And it's interesting. I was leaving my house to come up here, and I had some family in from out of town, and they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm going to watch a tournament." And they said, "Don't you just put your fingers in a ball and throw it down a lane?" And I'm like, "Oh, I have so much to teach you."
Yeah. It's like,
So
we
it's
don't
funny.
have enough time in your trip for me to be able to teach you.
There's so much to this game. It's incredible. I mean, the playing field changes more in our sport than any other sport, constantly changing. And not only that, when it's fresh, the playing field, it's infinite, the ways we can oil lanes.
Yeah.
And then the transition. I mean, it's hard. And most people don't really understand it, but that's our job as coaches. And you folks that are watching, you can see the talent in front of you. And I'm watching like you are. I can see these kids are being coached. Like this isn't an accident. And so please seek out coaching if you don't now. coaching's growing. There's coaches all around, and it's definitely worth your time because there's no substitute for that. It's hard to do it all on your own. And sometimes Coach YouTube isn't the only coach you need. Sometimes you need a personal coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time because anybody can put out information. So you do have to somewhat be careful about where you do get your information. But there is also so much good information at your fingertips.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you can literally, how to hook the ball more. You're going to have 30 videos pop up on teaching you how to hook a bowling ball more. Now, are all 30 of those going to probably be the best advice to listen to? Probably not. But there's going to be some good ones in there that know what they're talking about. And I think now with, you got Brad and Kyle, you got Darren, you got, myself and Mikey and, Packy's out there. We're all making videos that, we're high-level tour players, at, our, I would say prime, I guess, if you really want to say it, that, that we're younger 30s, older 20s making these videos. I mean, it's not like we're, old school players that, maybe haven't grown up in the times that, we're bowling in now. I mean, this is what we've grown up with, and this is what we have bowled on for a long period of time. And, I mean, to have the access of that stuff is just, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I know I watched about every single, Jason Belmonte and Oscar Palermo video there was allowed on YouTube. But it was literally just the videos of them bowling. There was no talking about this is why I do this or this is how you can do this better or whatever it is. It was just, I just watched them bowl. I tried to figure it out, and then I would go practice and see what worked and what didn't work. Right. But now you got the top level pros literally telling you what to do.
Yeah, and it's great information, fantastic information. There's just so many resources available if the bowlers are willing to seek them out, and it's well worth the time because sometimes throwing a ball all the time is not the best way to get better. There's so much to the brain side of things that you have to take in. And if you learn more about the game, it builds confidence, it builds your knowledge so that you know what to do physically more on the lanes. But just coming out in rapid fire, throwing 100 shots in an hour doesn't make you a better bowler.
It just implements the habits that you already had, whether they're good or bad.
Right.
They're just implementing the same one. So if you have bad habits and you just go out there and bowl 10 games, well, you got 10 more games of bad habits under your belt that you got to break. So always got to practice with some sort of purpose, and also, I mean, learning goes well beyond being inside the lanes as well. I mean, I think now more than ever, especially at a younger age, maybe you don't understand bowling balls quite as much. You don't understand the differences of them. Maybe you don't understand layouts as much, or how they affect ball motion, or how to properly use surface on your bowling ball, or
which I think is a very misunderstood and underused part of our sport.
1000%.
Speaking about this the other night, there's only a couple of examples of tournaments that don't allow that in the practice session prior to the start of the event. 99% of the time that you bowl, you have the ability to change surfaces prior to that first frame. And the analogy I tell people is, if you come into a tournament and you don't know the shot, what are the chances that the balls you bring in are magically matched up to the lane environment you're going to play on? Next to none.
Yeah.
And so that final tweak of the surface in the practice session is sometimes your key to success. And if bowlers or coaches don't maybe understand or have the experience doing that, I beg them to learn because it is such an underused part of our sport. Overseas, they've since changed the rule, but we had the ability to change surfaces between games. Oh my gosh. I was like, bring it on. I mean, my arm would be like curling up because my muscles were cramping because I was so tired after the day, but I didn't care. It was such a great
those lanes
tool to have.
Cooked.
Oh my gosh,
those lanes were cooked.
So if you could just refresh the surface or change it after each game. Now, obviously here we can't do that, but changing the current bowling balls that you think you're going to use the first game to match them up better is great, but also you have to look at the rest of your bag and think, okay, I'm just forecasting here, I'm just guessing, but in games 4, 5, 6, what do I think the lanes are going to be like, and what can I do to these other bowling balls that right now don't look good? But if I do something to the surface, not only do I make them possibly good at that time, but in my head, I've done something to make them look better than they do now. and I'm more likely to try them.
Yeah.
Because if I have a ball that looks awful on the fresh,
You're gonna have no confidence.
it's never going to come out my bag. But if I change the surface before that first frame, and I'm thinking, okay, you might be good in game 4, just sit in the bag and wait for me, then I'm more likely to give it a chance. So surface changes not only for now, but for the rest of the block is critical, and it's a guess. There's no way to know. It's always a
Educated
guess.
guess.
It's an educated guess.
That's what
Everything we
bowling
do
is.
in bowling
Yeah.
is everything. Ball changes, adjustments, everything we do as coaches or bowlers is a guess. We're professional guessers.
Yeah,
We
100%.
should be at the carnival.
I
Why aren't we at the carnival?
I
working,
know,
Chris?
right?
Guessing weight and height.
It's funny that you say that because I have literally told people, they'll ask me like what I do for a living. I was like, I guess for a living, and like
It's true.
and it is true. It's like in some people that know that I bowl, but it's like I tell them I'm like, yeah, I'm a professional guesser,
That's
and they're
exactly
like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I mean, you don't know what's out there. Like it looks very simple to somebody who just comes in and walks into a bowling alley. It's like, oh, there's 10 wooden things down there, just knock them over.
Right.
But obviously we all know that there's so much more that goes into it. And that's literally what we're doing. We're just guessing. And, with experience and knowledge, we can make educated guesses, and hopefully we make more correct guesses more often and more quickly. But at the end of the day, it's all just a guess.
And youth bowlers out there that are listening, and parents and coaches, one of the things that I really try to instill in the youth bowlers is that this is not a perfect science. There isn't a professional on tour, Chris, if I'm wrong, tell me, that's going to bowl an entire week of a tournament and never make one wrong guess.
It's physically impossible.
It's impossible. So if we admit that we make mistakes every day as far as making the wrong guesses, then why should you beat yourself up when you make a wrong guess?
Yeah.
The thing you can do, the best thing to do is go, okay, well, that guess wasn't right. I don't need to do it 3 more shots to believe that.
Yeah.
1 shot's all you need. Now make a different guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's doing it at the elite level, the best you can possibly do it.
Yeah, and you see some of the pros. I hate to point out Jason Sterner on the TOC show. He had a rough go of it, but those first few frames, right? There's only so many shots you get on practice before those TV shows, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like some guys go on and they bowl a bad game. It's like that is the ultimate. You make the best guess you possibly can, and hopefully that's right, because you got one game, you got one chance, and it can go bad quickly. And unfortunately for Jay, it didn't work out so great in those first few frames. He ended up bowling okay towards the end of it, but it's like he made a few ball changes, a few adjustment changes, and tried to get into the right part of the lane. But he wasn't just rapid firing, making ball changes just because he split.
Right.
I mean, there were reasons and actual thoughts and stuff that were going into those changes. And he's one of the most studious people in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be just understanding lane play, balls. Just really really invest himself into his game, and I think he gets a lot out of just doing things the correct way.
Right.
And he's really awesome to watch. And just he wasn't just rifling through bowling balls just to make ball changes because he split. I mean,
there's a rhyme and a reason.
There's a rhyme and a reason. He's understanding, hey, that ball just gave me information. Obviously, it's not the information he wanted to get, but it's information, and he's using that information to make another educated guess on the next one.
Exactly.
And that's really all it is. And if you can boil it down to something as that, to where it's like you throw a shot, you get information, you use that information to make another shot on the next frame. If you can literally get it down to that bare bones, you will be amazed at how much better you bowl. But it's hard to do.
And you waste fewer frames. And I think the problem is a lot of bowlers who wait 3 to 4 to 5 frames before they make a different decision. They're waiting to make that perfect shot, and there is no such thing. It's got to be good enough. And if you practice, and I was talking to some kids this week, if you practice enough, you've earned the right to believe that when you come to this tournament, every shot you throw is good enough. And if you're going to make an adjustment and it looks bad on the first shot that you throw it, you threw it well enough. It's just telling you the adjustment's wrong. Make another one. That's what the pros do. You guys don't make an adjustment, give it 5 frames, and go open, spare, open, 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 spare. You're going to make another adjustment quick.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to waste. And even in a 5-game block, it's only 50 frames. You don't have a lot of time to waste. So for those of you that are listening, when you're in a tournament like this, you have to trust if you practiced and put in the time that your adjustments need one shot to tell you whether it was the right guess or not.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, don't beat yourself up, make another guess, and keep going. And that is doing it the best anyone in this world possibly can.
Yeah, and I tell a lot of kids, if you can make a shot that you would give, if you could rate your shot like at least a 7 out of 10, I say that's a good enough shot that you can make an adjustment. Like if you throw a 7 out of 10 shot, obviously not your best shot, but a solid shot. Like if you can give yourself a 7 out of 10, and that ball does something that you don't think it should have done, then use that information and make an adjustment. Now, if you go up there and you make a 3 out of 10 shot, just not very good, then maybe we just try that one again. But if you feel like you threw a pretty good shot, and that's the other thing, you got to be honest with yourself.
You do, but sometimes though people are so. Who's your own worst critic? You are. And so I think a lot of bowlers are waiting for that 9 out of 10. You? Yeah.
100%.
So you're waiting for that 9 out of 10.
I've gotten better.
Good.
But it's been that way. Yeah.
Because you're not, throwing a 9 out of 10 to you is that perfect shot. And you don't need that to know whether that adjustment's correct or not. So I like that. I like what you said there. 7 out of 10 is good enough.
Yeah. Yep. It's good enough. So that is the end of game 3. So we've kind of just been rambling for about an hour, but
has it been an hour?
I don't know. It's probably been pretty close to it, I would guess.
Well, I've enjoyed it. I hope the people listening have.
Yeah, I hope so. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed Ron and I just randomly talk for an hour. So
we could sit here and do this for another 10 hours, I'm sure.
Yeah, we haven't looked at the comment section one single time, so we don't, maybe they just yelled at us and they told us to shut up 45 minutes ago, but we just didn't listen.
And 45 times.
Yeah, we just didn't listen to it.
Right.
So. All right, we are going to be taking a break here. Ron and I are going to be exiting. Blair, are you taking over?
Yeah.
Blair's going to be taking over. She'll be back in the booth here, starting up game 4.
Well, Chris, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and thank
absolutely.
you for having me.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this immensely.
Yeah, of course.
All right, we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed that awesome chat with Chris and Ron Hatfield. We got a new group of bowlers right in front of us. This round we're watching, it looks like Isaiah Derflinger, Rush Steen, Nathan Smeal, Dalton Wheeler, Ian Hornscheid, and Miles Gordon. And on the next pair, we have Mr. Dawson Cole, Elliot Gordon, Colton Cervello, Emmanuel Guevara, Zachary Main, and Colin Mertz. That is the bowlers that we are watching. I believe Leanne Holsenberg is making her way to the live stream booth. See Mr. Miles Gordon here on 33. He is a local bowler here in Columbus. Dawson Cole had a great round this morning on the short pattern. We'll pull up some scores as they bowl. Currently, they're inputting them. Manny makes a 10-pin. Good shot by Mr. Rush. Rush is a Power Ranger this round. Here's Mr. Collins stepping up on 35. Little tug, gets it to hold, and gets a strike. Perfect. All right. Sorry about that. We had a little George Wooten sighting right outside the booth. Had to say hello. Elliot Gordon here. Nice. Emmanuel is having fun. Here's Mr. Ian on 34. Ian gets his timing going. I love it. Clean through 4 for Mr. Ian. I like the jersey Dalton Wheeler has picked out for the weekend. Feeling a little tropical. It's been tropical here. It's been quite warm. That is Hayden Stubbe on the other camera that you see. Yes. Hayden is on that pair. Take a little look at this, the other angle we have. We jinxed Landon by coming over here. What do you guys need? All right. Got all kinds of exciting things. All right, here's Mr. Elliott. Gets it to go. And we have Rush. Rush Steen had a great first block, too. Solid. All right, let's see if we can find some scores. U18 boys. U15 boys. All right. On the medium pattern for the U15 boys, we got Drew Parker, Ian Honscheid. How do you say his last name? Ian Honscheid?
I don't know.
Tyler Polis, Elliot Gordon's in fourth, Isaiah Derflinger, Alex Crawley, Dalton Wheeler. Solid group here. A lot of them are on the camera this little round. Leanne Barrett-Holsenberg has joined us.
Hello.
Welcome, Leanne.
I'm trying to talk a few kids off the cliff down there.
Yeah? Who's on the cliff?
No, just, you know, teenage frustration, I think. Some
Oh, yeah.
moms that are not bowlers. And I said, how's it going? They're like, oh. I said, you want me to talk to them?
Manny and I had a conversation before this. We're bowling chill this game.
Manny's continuing his great bowling from this morning?
He did not continue last game. He had a struggle game. So.
Well, I've seen up and down this squad. It's tricky, I think.
There we go. This is bowling chill for Manny.
Manny is always in there.
He's good.
I think this is his last U15 division tournament because he'll be aging up in the August 1st. So he's going for it. He's due. He's really been a very consistent U15. He's been in the top 3 a lot. So he's due for a win.
Mr. Miles Gordon, he's no stranger to the podium. That's a pretty good shot.
No stranger to Columbus, Ohio either.
Nope.
The hometown favorite. One of all the great bowlers here in Columbus.
Yeah. That was a great shot by Colton there.
This is game 4?
This is game 4, yes.
4, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is Zachary Main here on 35. Quick feet. He gets quick to the line. I like it.
Elliot Gordon, Miles's brother.
Grown about a foot since the last time I've seen him.
Very tall. Whew.
Do you throw messengers like that?
Never. Never, ever.
Ian Hohenshed is how you pronounce that. Thank you, Lisa, for the pronunciation.
Oh, we always appreciate the pronunciation.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to add the enunciation to the chat form so they can tell us how to enunciate. Like,
yeah,
right?
That would be helpful.
How your name is pronounced.
The thing I really am afraid of the most is mispronouncing a kid's name when we award their medals and trophies. I always want to make sure I pronounce it properly.
True that.
And they're not all easy.
No.
It's a good cover.
Yeah.
Yes, nice shot. Chill.
Bull
Picking
chill.
up splits.
We're bull and chill. We got this. All right, here's Dawson. Dawson's also grown a foot.
Well, both of his parents are very tall.
Oh, Dawson. That's a hard spare, though. Chopping through 610. It gets in your head.
How's Rushdeen, our one of our medalists from round 1, silver medal, I think?
I was seeing.
How's he bowling this squad?
Is he in U18 or U15?
He's in U15.
Oh.
It's flip-flopped quite a bit for this round, I think. But
he struggled. 179, 181, 218.
All right.
So, and this game, if he continues, this is a good game for him. So.
Well, it's a long tournament. It's 4 rounds of 5 games, so plenty of time tomorrow. But you don't want to dig a hole, so you want to get everything you can today.
Mediums can be really tricky. They really, medium patterns can go either way.
This was a longer medium, so it's 43 feet. But 1 forward run of oil, I think. So I think a lot of people moved in very quickly.
Marvin wants to know, is Bella Castillo or Brady bowling this SYC? They're both not here.
No, Bella is out. Brady is at Team USA developmental camp, I think, in Arlington, Texas. And Bella is not bowling with us, sadly. We only get to see Bella a couple times a year.
It's true.
Good shot by Rush. I love that jersey.
He's a Power Ranger.
Is that what it is?
I'm pretty sure it's a Power Ranger jersey. Because that's what it's either
it's
oh, no,
Batman.
it's Batman.
There it is. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. It
Batman.
was something. Some superhero or something.
There's some very cool jerseys out there this weekend. Bunch of Ohio jerseys, Blair.
That's true. It's a bunch of Ohio kids bowling. They can reuse that jersey all year. I love this jersey. Isaiah's wearing. This is the 12-bagger special drop, the neon drop.
He's wearing it too.
Yeah, it's very popular. And G said that he's coming out with another neon version of it. So stay tuned. He does drop. I forget what day it drops. It's either Tuesdays or Thursdays.
I kind of like our jerseys, and I see quite a few kids wearing them.
Yeah.
So there's 2 on the pair left of us.
Absolutely.
It's going to be our new Saturday jersey.
I heard, and I was like, yes, I could wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. I'm good with that.
Especially in September, October, November, December.
Gerald and I were talking about that. We're like, football season. It's almost here.
Blair doesn't say red.
No.
Blair says scarlet.
There's no such thing as red.
It's all scarlet.
It's true.
Tomorrow we're doing the world's largest bowling center, OHIO.
Yeah, do you know who's on me about this? Alyssa Bechtel. Alyssa really wants to do this, and Ron Hatfield promised her that we would do it.
We're doing the big OHIO tomorrow morning to get everyone loosened up.
Jennifer Steen is here to say it's Batman. Well, Power Rangers are cool too, Jennifer. I didn't see the bat on the back. When he turned around, I see the bat.
Rush was not even born when Power Rangers were around.
That's not true. They brought out the V2 of Power Rangers, just like everything else. They just are not at the cool Power Rangers, the OGs.
Kimberly, the pink Power Ranger.
Oh, that's the best one. That was my favorite. It was either like, if you were a girl, you liked pink or yellow, right? Those were the two.
Mm-hmm.
Good shot, Miles. Good spare. Russia and Dawson are two kids that have really grown up together. Know each other since they were little guys.
Cute little guys.
It's true. Oh, man. I thought he had the messenger there for a minute. Dell says he sees greatness. To wake Dell up this morning. Olivia was on the live stream. I'm like, Dell.
You didn't even know it?
Where you at? Normally they're on it. Oh, yeah, Ian got that one to go.
Love the reaction.
We'll take every break we can get. Shot by Emmanuel. Leanne, how many states do we have represented?
28.
28.
Yeah, big turnout.
And how many new bowlers are there?
42.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That's great.
34 SYC champions in the field. We announced all of them this morning. It took forever.
It's awesome.
Oh, solid 9 by Rush.
Not so awesome. You're supposed, Leanne, you're supposed to tell Emmanuel to give it the business.
Yeah. I have to keep it PG, though, Del Ballard. In the words of Del Ballard.
Yeah, right.
Give it the business. Be nice to it. That's another Del Ballard phrase. Be nice to it.
Yeah, that was a good shot by Colton. Strike. There's some hold out there if you can find it. If you're in the right part of the lane. What's some of the things you've seen as you've been walking around this block? Any particular pattern of bowlers like doing something similar, or?
No, I've seen a lot of up and down this squad. This morning the scores were high. Seemed like everyone kind of had at it on the short pattern. 2 years ago we bowled here, the scores were really high.
Yes.
I don't think they're going to be as high. I was kind of hoping for some 300s. And maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. The long, medium and long. This might be our day.
I've seen a few kids trying very hard. Hence the stressed out parents. Had one parent tell her son, "We're going in the car. We are going to sit in the car during the lunch break. Get it out of you." A lot of kids, this is their last SYC, so they're trying hard.
Or their last SYC in a certain age group. This is the last one before all the move-ups.
Yep.
Ah, that was almost a big pickup over there on.
Good try, for sure.
Yeah. I think Josh Collins was plus $1 million from the last Columbus SYC.
He won it.
He did, and he was plus $1 million. He's killing it. There's also, like, we were talking earlier, because the was like Landon's pair that was right, 33
Yeah.
and 34.
Or
and
Julie and Christina were like screaming.
Yeah, because
they all had that front 8 or something. Or
yeah, the low game was like 250.
Yeah. That was fun. But they reminded me I told them to be quiet.
All right. Oh, I thought Ian got away with another one. Dang. He's happy with his 9, though. He's like, all right, can't get 2 lucky breaks in a row. Colin has a classic Team Storm spare ball. One of the black sparkly ones. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Not sure, though. Nope, global. It's a global spare ball. Ooh, we got a front 9 watch here.
Where? Where?
On 27, Max Oken is on the front 9. Awesome.
Oh, go Max. Just when I said we want him 300s. Maybe Max is going to do it.
Jeremy, let's go Max. He's a local. And he has grown a foot. Oh my goodness, he has grown up so much. Although when I left, he was a little guy. So he's grown 3 feet since I left. All right, and it looks like Max is up right now. So we can see what happens here. Him and his crew had a good run in the Baker team yesterday too. There's one. There's some clapping.
Throwing a gem or a magic gem, maybe.
Yeah, it did look like that.
Maybe a magic gem. Sometimes I get those confused, but
this is a big game for him, this block, because he is minus 22 going into this game.
This will give him a lot of plus. People are watching. The crowd is gathering. Blair is wondering if anyone is videoing it.
I know. I'm like, am I going to have to? I can't see. I don't see a Mike Cynic. I think I'm going to have to.
There's a mom videoing it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go down there.
Oh, John Boris is doing it.
Is John down there? Yeah. John.
John's got it. John's always there for us.
Yeah, I'm like. All right, let's see.
And the crowd is gathering. All the kids are
Well, there's
hovering.
a lot of people that know Max in this area. This is big for him. This is great.
I wonder if this couldn't possibly be his first 300. Wouldn't that be something?
I don't know.
Well, all the pairs have stopped. This is amazing. I love this. Come on, Max.
Oh, he did it.
It was a ring 10 and then it fell.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
What are we going to do without John? By the way. Can we hire John Boris to come and be our videographer?
Max Oken, 300.
I wonder if that's his first 300. Jeremy says he's pretty sure he has multiples. He's a good bowler. Wait. John and I are airdropping at the moment. Hold on. What's happening in front of us?
We've got Rushdeen closing out a 240. No 300, but nothing to be ashamed of. 240, I'll take that.
This video is thinking. This video is large. Shout out to the Palace for their awesome Wi-Fi. No, what? It's like this much. All right. We got the video. It does. Was there another one? Uh-oh.
Someone's videoing. I see Jay Burgess videoing. I wonder if it's Ryan or Keegan or... It looks like it was Ryan Burgess.
Aw. Or
wait, no, that's
Luke
not.
Switolski.
Oh, it was Luke's. It was Phil.
Yeah.
So Luke Switolski may have bowled 300.
Wow.
Ah, see, all I had to do was talk about it, and then they started happening.
Yeah, really.
I was just saying, I thought we were going to have some 300s.
Yeah.
And then we did. So congrats, guys. I mean, I was just hoping.
Yeah, well, you
I
apparently...
wasn't predicting. I was just hoping.
You by saying that there weren't any, they're like, oh, we'll show you, Leanne.
That's awesome. Show me all you want.
Yeah, really. We want to see some more.
I'm happy about
Keep 'em
that.
coming.
Happy about that. Great shot, Colin. I think Colin's a first-time SYC bowler. He had a lot of questions for me this morning, so thinks he's enjoying himself.
It's good. Good shot.
Another good shot. Oh, what a break.
All right, we are going to finish up 35 and 36. The bowlers here, and then we're going to take a short break, very short. And I think Max actually might come close to the live stream. So you'll get to see Max Oken, who just shot 300, bowl his final game of the medium pattern. Pretty
Hopefully
exciting.
another 300.
Oh, back to back?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
We've
No,
never
we
had
have
that.
not. We have not.
You know, I asked John Martin today if he would volunteer to be our SYC historian, because do you know what stat he told me today? And I'm not doubting him. I think he's right. Mabel Cummins won every SYC she bowled.
Well, we can certainly check on that.
Yeah.
She won seven or 8.
He said it was either 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And she won every one she bowled. So he said, because we were talking about that.
Well, we didn't use bowl metrics
back then
for the first couple that she bowled, so I don't know if that is true, but it very well could be true.
Yeah, we just look at who won those, right? Like, but anyway, she if that's true, she could be the most.
Well, we thought Gianna had a
winning
high percentage.
Right.
Let me look at
and I mean, because that we never really had Mabel Cummings in our percentages because she.
Yeah, we just bragged about Gianna and her percentage. But
there were fewer events back then, so less opportunity. Like she couldn't have ever gotten to 12.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know how I would have to look up each tournament because she has Reno, Smyrna. Well, she won 3 in 2018, and we only had 4. So she might not have bowled the Coastal Classic.
Right.
She won 2 in 2019.
Well, that's 5.
And then Smyrna 2020.
That's 6. So how many titles does she
She
have?
has 6 titles.
So she's bowled 6 tournaments and has 6
She's
titles.
only bowled 6?
Yeah.
How do you know she's only bowled 6?
Because you just read off the ones she won. Oh, I don't know that.
I just read off her titles.
Oh, okay.
So, but we only had. So we'd have to check our 4th one in 2018.
And see if she bowled it.
When did we start using bowl metrics? 2019?
Yeah. All right, we are going to watch Emmanuel throw his last shot here. Good shot by Dawson. Good shot by Emmanuel. I'm going to steal someone. Oh, my goodness. You're going to break my back, dude. Say it, wave hi. Say hi. Look at what's on these Crocs. We got Storm Croc Charms.
What's up, Gannon?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got Dawson. Look at Dawson. He's going to get a double. Oh, I jinxed him. I shouldn't jinx him? No. All right. Emmanuel, with that. Liam, we're going to take a short break. Liam, thanks for joining us for a game. It's a treat to get to chat with you during a tournament. Normally, you're out
well, we have a whole
busy.
mess of awesome volunteers for this tournament, so
yay,
had a little free time.
I like it. All right, we'll be right back, and we'll watch a Max Bowl. All right, we are back. We're gonna see at least we had not just one 300 last game. We had 300 games in one game. Anthony Hornick, Luke Swatolski, and Max Oken all shot 300, which is just amazing. Shot by Chance McLean. Not going. Never mind. That's a bad break. Thought it was a good shot off his hand. All right, so the bowlers that we are watching on this pair are. Make sure we should have Grayson Bias-Rasco, Eden Salaquist, Max Oken, Elias O'Halloran, Jesse Tacone, Sebastian Huffman, and then on 35 and 36, we have Josh Morgan, Michael Evanson Jr., Jordan Bowerly, Chance McLean, and Connor Woosley. Those are the bowlers that you will be watching this game. Trying to get these videos posted. It's awesome. Max still having a great game this game. Here's Mr. Connor going for a double. Ugh. Little hold there. Elias O'Halloran has pulled many SYCs, many tournaments all over the country. Solid player. Didn't like that one off his hand. And there's Michael Evanson. It's fair. It's fair. All right, there's a shot by chance. I am now joined by Mike Sinek. Hi, Mike.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I am great. I was just tackled by some U12 parents as I was running across the concourse.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, they're having fun.
Oh, good.
U12 is always the party.
The party pair?
During the bowling event.
They really is.
Yes, they are.
I agree.
Even if the bowlers aren't having a great time, the parents seem to be having a great time. So
I love it. We just had 3 300s in one game.
I heard the one on 27.
That was Max Oken, who is bowling on 33 and 34 now.
Excellent. And who else had 3?
Luke Switolski.
Luke Switolski, who did very well this morning.
And Anthony Hornick.
Anthony Hornick. Very nice.
Pretty good.
Anthony struggled down at the high end a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom. Very nice.
Yeah, Max was kind of struggling this block. I'm waiting a minute to make sure all the scores get put in, and then I wanted to see. All right, well, let's see here. Anthony Hornick has now moved into third. If all the scores, oh no, all the scores are not. Never mind. Hold please. Hold please.
Working on it. A couple of pairs were a little late with their sheet, per se.
Well, there is a little discrepancy too in when some pairs are finishing and some pairs aren't.
Yep. Yeah, we've had a couple minor things that have delayed pairs, and then there was a social going on at one point where one pair got behind because they were having too much fun, which is exactly what they're supposed to be having at this tournament. It's
absolutely
perfectly fine. Because
Dell said, "What number 300s?" That was 3 300s.
3 300s.
And let me tell you, Leanne sat in that chair and said, "I'm a little surprised we haven't had any 300s yet at the beginning of that game."
Oh, just wait. We may have. Well, we've got. I'm not going to black cloud anything, but let's just say there's an opportunity in this game as well.
Across the board, huh?
Yes, and I believe tomorrow you will see multiple opportunities.
These kids are good.
These kids are exceptional, and I think they figured the house topography out a little bit, so they're starting in the right part of the lane, and then it just only gets better from there.
There's Max. Max is sparing now.
Okay.
He's like, oh, I have to shoot spares?
Spares.
What are these spare things?
So tedious.
I know. Let's see if there's some bios. I was posting the 300 video at the beginning of this, so I was kind of quiet over here.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone was listening.
Yeah, I've got the call that there was a front 9 on 27, and I was down on lane 64, so I was like, I'm not going to get there in time.
Yeah, I was like looking around. I'm like, is anyone videoing this? And then John Morris showed up. So
excellent. I was definitely on the run, but I couldn't get there.
All right, tell us about Chance McLean, who has had a couple bad breaks. Both of those 8 counts, not his fault, 100%. I would say.
Oh. Chance McLean's from the Baltimore, Washington area. Calvert County, Lord Calvert, which has a very strong youth program. He also bowls Monday nights in the wintertime at my program. He has been on a bit of a hot streak, not just in regards to bowling singular games, but he's won a bunch of tournaments recently in our area, including Pepsi and a couple other big events. So he's doing quite well. Started drilling his own bowling balls. His dad owns the pro shop at Lord Calvert, just outside of the bowling center, and Chance drills his own stuff now, so it's kind of cool.
I love that.
Yes, I think it's neat that the bowlers learn how to do that, or at least have a working knowledge of how to do that. Especially considering that if they decide to bowl out on tour, you got to glue your own grips and learn how to work all those parts and pieces.
Absolutely. And collect what works and what doesn't, right?
Yep. And to be honest, for me, I started drilling when I was 17, and being responsible for somebody else's bowling ball changes your attitude and your thought process in regards to how bowling balls work.
Love that. Oh my God, Sebastian Huffman sighting. He wasn't on my list.
Nope. He just had the front seven and then got a little high with that one, unfortunately. Sebastian Huffman's a really, really good bowler.
He is a really good bowler.
He was out of Las Vegas, but I heard he moved
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Very
yeah,
nice.
He lives in, his dad took a job out, I can't remember if it was mom or dad. Someone got a job in West Virginia.
Very nice. Really good bowler. I got to coach him in a U15 team a couple of years ago.
That's fun.
Yeah. Throws it really well.
Yes, he does.
And then on lane 35, Mr. Morgan here throws 16-pound equipment.
Impressive.
Yep. And as you can see,
he
throws it really well.
He looks like a strong kid.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
He's having a solid game.
Yep.
Young sister Taylor also bowls.
Yep.
So that GBR on the back of his shirt does not stand for Go Big Red for all you fans out there. Those are his initials. That's Mr. Grayson, I believe. I lost where I was. Yeah, Grayson Bias Rasco. GBR. I love it. No, I did read off Sebastian Huffman. Apparently, I'm getting delirious, folks. I apologize.
So our medium pattern number 1 has developed quite interestingly. If you look at the graph, and this is a lesson for all the bowlers out there. If you look at the graph would suggest that you would want to play more toward the outside part of the lane. But one of the unique parts about bowling is we don't see the topography of the lane. We also don't have control over everybody else who's throwing balls down the lane at the same time as we are. And this house by nature plays more towards second arrow.
Wow.
So the pattern, if you play the pattern correctly, by looking at the pattern, you would play further out, but the topography won't let you do that. So, I heard somebody tell me earlier today, well, I'm playing the pattern correctly based upon the graph, and I'm like, yeah, but okay, that's part of it. But now the second part is you have to match up to the lane you're on, and that's the hard part. So, the bowlers that moved to the left, if you're right-handed, faster, are reaping the rewards. Some folks have just gotten to it from playing further out, and the scores are starting. The scoring pace was kind of low initially, as bowlers were realizing that playing the way the graph was kind of telling you wasn't quite going to work. And now we're having 300s, and some really high scores are coming our way.
100%. Yep. Oh, hold on, Max. Oh.
Strings of strikes.
He tried to pick up that 4-9.
But now these bowlers are very, very good.
Exceptional. Yeah.
My old joke was that you give me some of the boys in U15 are better than the college players that were on the team when I was in school.
It's not quite a joke. It's actually true.
True.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like I don't think you're kidding.
So hopefully my former teammates aren't offended by that comment, but it's true.
Oh yeah, these kids are better than every generation before them.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I know every generation probably says that, but I don't know. These kids are
Yeah.
great.
Some of it's technology driven, some of it's knowledge based driven. One of the advantages of the internet and social media is the readily available content in regards to how to play lanes and ball technology, and that's one of the cool things that Storm does. If you're on the stormbowling.com webpage, there's a bunch of easy little 2-minute reads that they've been putting out in regards to how to play a lane, how to pick up all simple stuff, so starting with simple and working up the food chain in regards to even more difficult things. And then if you go to the stormbowling.com YouTube page, there are videos about pretty much everything that you could need to learn how to bowl and understand how a ball goes down the lane. Now, there are much deeper parts of ball motion that pro shop operators, are experts at. But for the customer in general, you can learn a lot by going to the web.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you something, but I forgot. But you know what I do know? Connor Woosley here, he collects rocks.
Really?
Yes.
Cool.
I think that is cool. Now that I live in Utah, I'm like, my neighbor's a big rock collector, and she shows me the rocks and all the different like historic and all of the reasons that you do collect rocks, and I had no idea that it was this whole world, but it is a world. So shout out to Connor.
Yeah. I did initially. My uncle cracked open a geode with us once, so you could see the cool inside, the purple inside, and that was amazing. And yeah, I more power to anybody that does collects rocks and understands all of the nuances in that. That's kind of fun.
Absolutely. Chat by chance there.
See, so amongst our bowlers, we were talking earlier this morning in game one of the short pattern. We have a meteorologist in the house.
Yes.
Now we have a geologist in the house.
Yes. We just need like an anthropologist and what else?
Oh, I'm sure we have one. I know we have collectors. I know because I heard a conversation the other day about a stamp collection.
Stamp collection.
So I know we have a stamp collection.
Coin collection.
Coin collectors in the house. I'm positive, and then of course classic cards.
Sports cards. Yeah,
sports cards. Yeah. Absolutely, tops and yeah.
That whole cards thing is coming back.
Yep. There's been an upheaval in the card business recently, and it's coming back. I have bowling cards. There were bowling cards done with the men's tour and the ladies tour back in the day.
Old school ones.
Old school cards. I have a Leanne Barrett card. I should get her to sign that at some point.
You
just
should.
For fun.
Yeah.
Oh
dear, Josh cut that short.
Yeah.
Got away with it though. Got 9 out. Is that 9 or 8? 9.
That's 9.
Okay, just making sure.
But
yeah, Sebastian his release is so quick.
Yep, and I'll tell you this. Like I said earlier, I coached him in a tournament when he was like 14 years old or 13 years old, and his release was good back then. He's just gotten stronger and taller and more knowledgeable.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so Mike, we are wrapping up round 2.
Yep. Time to collect some scores, pick up some score sheets, and then we double check all the math. Even though we automatically enter it into Bowlmetrics, we go through every sheet, add every score just to make sure. Double check. Nice shot.
Really nice.
So we double check every sheet, make sure that the scores are correct. Often we'll run to the front desk and ask for a check of a score in case there's some handwriting that might be a little, little. Is that a 6 or a 5?
Yeah, you guys do a great job with the scorekeeping.
We have fun. I enjoy it, and I learn by listening. When I'm going pair to pair, writing down scores, I'm listening to the bowlers talk about ball reaction and just current topics, and I'm creating a list of definitions that I need now because there's new terms that I don't understand.
I love it. All right, Seabass here, finishing up on 34. Oh, that's good.
Got it.
Oh, I thought he did.
That's all right. That was a great game.
266 for Mr. Sebastian.
Yep.
All right, so 33 and 34 is done. Let's switch over to this other angle of the camera that we have.
I want to throw it like that when I'm. Oh wait, I'm old already. Okay. Oh, nope. Mr. Bowerly here was on a nice game, still is.
Jordan Bowerly has been with us for a while, too. I wonder if he has a bio in here.
Hope so.
Quite a few SYCs. I know. Thank you for saying hope so. I hope that these boys fill out their bios, too, and he doesn't.
Nope.
All of them.
Yep.
Anyway, Jordan's been with us, grown up with us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid that he might be on the cusp of aging out. I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, we're going to have a number that are aging out this tournament.
I think Josh Morgan might be aging out.
Really?
Might be close.
We did have one bowler this morning. It was his first SYC, and he's aging out. Got a medal, though, so, not bad.
It's true. Yeah, he did. And that was fun. I asked him, I go, is this your first SYC? He goes, yes. Is this your last SYC? He goes, yes. All right.
And my line was, where you been?
I know, seriously.
He throws it so well. Bobby Brown
does,
throws it so well. I'm like, where have you been? Chance McLean, come on.
That was a great shot.
Go.
He just split the 8-9 on that
Yep,
shot. That
beautiful.
was fantastic. Michael Evanson Jr. and his dad last night joined us at the hyperbowling party. His dad was one of the top 3 finalists.
Very nice.
In points. Shout out to Michael Evanson Sr.
That was awesome.
Oh, so fun. I love that the parents beat the kids.
Yes.
That was what I was hoping for.
Chance McLean is one of the things that Chance can do. His A game is playing straight up the gutter, where a lot of two-handers would prefer to drift left and open the lane up. Chance is really, really good at taking a lane and just going straight up the outside if that's available to him. Yeah, he's. There have been events where he's been the only guy with a look, and he's away from everybody else, and it just looks amazing. Really good player.
Absolutely. All right, we're getting down to the end.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll have a little bonus action. Jacob Yoakum over here.
Yep.
Got that pair. We have another 10 for him to get through. Everyone's almost done. We might have to end this early. I'll let you see Kai Struthers, but we might have to end when 35 and 36 is done because we got to go and collect some scores. Good shot by Kai right there.
Oh,
my goodness, popcorn. Kai Popcorn Struthers.
Wow.
That's his nickname.
That was
Brutal.
Such a good shot.
Who's the e-bowler on this lane? They have a 5-bagger.
Yeah.
Connor really wanted that one on 35. Oh dear, Kai. Oh dear. Little mental error right there. That's all right. It happens.
There's bowler E. There.
Yep. Mr. Teague.
Nice
and
shot.
that's a 6-bagger.
Nice shot.
All right, now we can't turn off the live stream because we got to see how Teague finishes.
Yep.
Teague's got a cool headband.
Sure he does.
How good was Jacob Yoakum throw right there?
It's a quality game. And
Really? Connor's like, okay, fine, whatever.
Connor's like,
Whatever.
I'm done. Chicken tenders.
Like, let's go. I want to go home.
So one of the big conversations this weekend so far has been the chicken tender conversation because Blair introduced me to one of her favorite places called Roosters.
I love it.
But then there was Cane's in the area. There's Popeyes in the area. There's Mikey Tang told me a name of a restaurant yesterday.
Don't listen to Mikey.
Wow.
He says that it's better than Roosters. I don't believe you.
Well,
No. Don't listen to Mikey.
I forgot what it was called.
Good. Me too.
Oh, Shaker's Public House.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Whatever. Chris and Mikey have decided that this place is better than Roosters, and I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah.
There's also Hot Chicken Takeover. I haven't heard anyone mention that one.
That's true. I saw that restaurant. I couldn't quite. I had to do it. There's a solid 8. I had to do a double take when I was driving because I'm like, what does that say? Hot Chicken Takeover? All right.
It's delicious.
Really?
You pick your level of hotness on your. It's like the Nashville hot chicken,
Mm-hmm.
and so you pick your level, and then it comes with mac and cheese, and
Yeah.
they do collard greens. They
There
do
you go.
like comfort food. I think they did add fries finally, but
Okay.
they for a long time didn't even have fries. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Jordan has another year. Thank you, Nikki. I get a little sad when I start to think that all these bowlers are leaving us. I don't want them to. I want them to come back.
All right, lane
again and
37.
again.
Here we go.
Split
Bam.
the 89.
Right there. He's got the right roll. There are other players that are putting it in the same part of the lane, but he's got that. The release has got it rolling through the pocket correctly, very nicely.
Can I make a plea to all you U18 moms out there?
Yeah.
U18 boys moms, let me be more specific. Can you just fill out your bios for your sons? They don't do it. They just don't. And I would love to talk about them.
Yep.
You can make funny stuff.
Yes, his favorite thing is his mother, and he wants a shout out to his mother.
100%.
Absolutely.
I love it when the parents mess with the kids in their bios, and you can say, from mom.
From
Love mom. But I need some bios, please. Please, U15 and U18 boys moms. All right, here we go. Teague's up.
Let's go. This pitch crept a little high.
It did. Still a super solid game.
Yep.
Let's see where Teague was before this game. Oh, Teague's in the U15. Look, I'm even yelling at him. Oh, wait. Short, medium, long. Yeah, here he is. Okay, so before this game, he was minus 16.
Well,
So this is a great game. for him.
245. Very nice.
No longer minus. Way to go.
Yep. Way to climb that ladder.
Okay, so U15 and U18 boys, moms.
Yes.
I need both of you. I need
Yes.
you all to work together.
Otherwise, if we have a U12 bio, we're going to pull it.
Yeah, absolutely. One time I did. A kid had, the last time they filled out a bio, I think it was like Morgan.
Mhm.
She was in the U15 division, and I said she was 14, and she was like 17, and I'm like, well, up to your bio.
Like SpongeBob SquarePants. And
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no,
Oh,
Kai.
Kai.
Oh, no.
Kai.
Kai, ugh. Kai is shaking his head.
Yep.
All
We've all
right.
been there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We have. All right.
And,
The whiff.
man, we jinxed this pair.
I know.
We should have not ever changed the camera angle. All right, Mike, on that note,
Wow. Hi, everybody, and goodbye, everybody.
all right, we will be back tomorrow for 10 more games.
Yep.
Welcome to the Super Slam. Mike, thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh,
and we will see you all tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Cool.
You've been watching the 2024 SYC Super Slam Ohio. The SYC Super Slam Ohio would not be possible without the generous donations from our sponsors: Storm Bowling, Cool Wick, PBA Junior, KEGEL, Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Shoes, Ray's Eyewear, Ballard's Bowling Academy, Master Industries, Quality Respite and Home Care, and by T&D Transportation. Special thanks to the official scoring system of the Storm Youth Championships, Bowlmetrics. The preceding was produced exclusively by Storm Bowling. For more information on upcoming events and more, please visit stormbowling.com. Once again, thanks for watching.